Touchdown! What a run in the first touchdown of the 12-team playoff.
This is 365 Sports.
Daniels keeps it, and he scores.
365 Sports is presented by IdealMRI.com. High-quality MRIs for $497 or less. IdealMRI.com. Your health is important, so is your budget.
Underneath, Smith gets to the corner. Money on the rise. Touchdown, Jeremiah Smith.
365 Sports is also brought to you by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, protecting Texans since 1952.
Johnson buys some time. There's the tight end again, rumbling towards the end zone, and the touchdown for Anzio.
Remember when you had a guy, someone who could fix anything? They're still out there at Batteries Plus. With their quick solutions and expert advice on batteries, key fobs, and phone repair, Batteries Plus will have you in and out and on your way in no time. Batteries Plus, the experts in charge.
Klubnik's going to take off. Klubnik with a touchdown.
Now here's Paul Catalina and Craig Smoak.
Welcome into the Friday edition of 365 Sports. Paul Catalina and Craig Smoak. Soki is off doing Midway Panthers football tonight. Craig, I was so excited to come in today because last night we got some confusing news at first from Pete Thamel, which even some of the best reporters in the biz can throw out a word salad, which was John Mateer is aiming to be able to play, and he was still listed as questionable. But then about an hour later, we found out that John Mateer on the injury report is probable to play in Red River tomorrow at the Cotton Bowl against Texas. And Craig is our resident OU fan and expert. This is an exciting development. It's confusing a little bit, but exciting.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than zero chance that he can play tomorrow. And if you're an Oklahoma fan, you'll take better than zero, absolutely. So we'll see, obviously, tomorrow. We can get all the way up and into warm-ups, and we can see him throwing, and it still might not mean that he's playing. So it won't be known until they actually take the field, unless he just comes out at some point, which I don't know why he would. But, unless somebody just throws it out there here in the next less than 24 hours, then we'll have to wait for like that first snap of Oklahoma on offense. But it's trending in a much more positive direction than people probably thought when the injury news first broke. And I'm sure some of this is gamesmanship as well. Pete Thamel had one of the biggest word salad tweets I've ever seen. I mean, it was I know what it was. It was trying to be on the lead of the story and give some hungry audience some food, basically. But it was like, it had no calories to it. It was like it was like he may play, but he also might not play. And people are optimistic, but they're also not sure. And it's like, so nothing at all is being reported in here, like really like nothing. And so then I think probably people reacted that way because shortly after, I think he had a follow-up tweet where there was like actually some like, okay, yeah, it's heading in this direction. So it actually had a direction itself, the report. And then the SEC made it official with this. So yeah, better than being out. And we'll see tomorrow, but they certainly have a much better chance with him than without him. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm not buying into it yet because I know this could very well be mostly mind games. And I am concerned that you come back too early and you further hurt yourself, and it doesn't cost you the Texas game, but it costs you 2, 3, 4 games after that. And then you're, instead of maybe eating the loss because you could have just waited one more week and 5-1, 6-1, 7-1, then you turn it into a season that goes sideways because now your quarterback's really not healthy. So that's where I'm cautiously like pessimistic, but we'll see tomorrow, man. I mean, it's definitely been a last couple days of plenty of intrigue and guessing games leading into this Red River. So I think people are frothing right now to see what happens.
Here's what I think that you'll see tomorrow. He will come out and warm up. He will be in uniform. He'll be on the sideline. We will not know what this really means, like you said, until the first snap. Mm-hmm. But everything that happens until that first snap will look like he's going to play. It's good. Like if you're at the game early tomorrow, if you go to the Cotton Bowl, if you're there and watching warm-ups, you're going to watch John Mateer warming up. Like it's going to be a normal run-through, and then they're going to go into the tunnel, and they're going to run back out, and then when the first snap happens, you'll know if it's him or Michael Hawkins that starts. And I think that he will be, at the very least, probably available to them if they feel like, he can play at all, but they're not ready to throw him out there because he didn't practice all week. But he practiced some, but he didn't like fully practice and do all that. Now, which is why I love following message board geniuses. I saw them retweet this last night. I don't remember when it happened, but the kid that works at Chipotle in Norman saw, John Mateer a couple days after the surgery. He was there getting his Chipotle bowl and asked him, "Are you going to play against Texas?" He's like, "Hell yeah, brother, I'm playing." And assured him he was. And it's funny that like the kid at Chipotle was the first to hear it, but that's usually just rah stuff from the quarterback. But he felt good about it. The doctor was pretty candid about how he thought the surgery went really well. So clearly that happened. I mean, he's 18 days out of surgery right now and trending to possibly play.
I mean, the timeline was close enough that it's possible. It's not like there's anything you could rule out, which is why we're all speculating and talking about it, because there is a legit chance that he plays and that the surgery went well enough, that he's strong enough, that he feels like he can go. And wouldn't be the first time that a major college football storyline gets spoiled, not by the big reporters, but instead by some random Chipotle waiter or some random frat brother or something like that. So that's where a lot of stuff originates that gets to the message boards, comes from guys like that. So yeah, maybe that's the report we all circle back to when Mateer leads them to victory or whatever tomorrow. But I mean, I just hope he plays, and if he does, that he's not risking hurting himself to the point of hurting their season overall. So if there's a chance of that, then I'd rather him just sit this one out, because you can eat a loss. And look, you might still beat them without him. Like that, you can't rule that out either. But you definitely have a better chance with him. But for the rest of your games, I mean, I'm worried about the totality of the season and not hurting your playoff chances for this one game. But I know how important this game is. So with his only real opportunity to play Texas, you don't want to miss that game. Yeah. And so I'm sure
there's no guarantees back next year.
Yeah. So I'm sure he's chomping at the bit to play in this one. And yeah, I think at worst he'd be available, break glass in case of emergency. I do think that if he played it up all the way to this point, why not just, do the Dylan Gabriel from 2022 thing and have him out there in uniform warming up, and then we'll know once they hit the field. But the gamesmanship is ongoing, and it's Friday afternoon, so we've got less than 24 hours till we see what is what actually. But it's been a fun little build-up and side story leading into this rivalry game that really doesn't need a lot of this stuff, but it's added to it this year.
I do think that this is, and I always kind of thought this, like you can argue about what the best rivalry is, but I can tell you about the one that's the most consistent with rivalry shenanigans, and it's this one. Like the rivalry, like, you know, you can say Ohio State, Michigan and all that, but the one like Ohio State, Michigan is really only surprising on game day. I mean, like I'm sure there are things from the lore that are like this, but this happens seemingly in Red River, something to this effect almost every season. Or one of these teams is total garbage, but it doesn't matter on this day. More so in this rivalry than most.
Yeah, I don't want to speak out of turn. I think Michigan, Ohio State's probably the same way. We just don't live there. So I think we probably got some location bias because, you know, with that one, all of the letters get changed, the M's get changed, you know, from leading into the game, and they have their traditions, and there's been all sorts of controversies and crazy moments in that one. And I mean, look, in Auburn, Alabama, trees died, and
that's also, those games are all at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Too. So like it's a different time of the year. I think part of the craziness that adds to this is it's square in the middle of the year every year.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they all have their intricacies and their quirks and their weirdness. But yeah, I mean, Red River being earlier does put it in a different sort of place than just the typical end of year type of game like some of these others are. But yeah, I mean, it's right there. I said the other day, it's at worst like top 3 for me as far as the best college football rivalries go. Ohio State, Michigan really is the one that pops into mind as the only real contender to me. And I know there's Auburn, Alabama, and there's all these various other ones you can point to. Well, that's for you if you feel that way. For me, it's like at worst number 3, and really it's number 2 because I'm sitting here going, well, what's number 2 or number 1 even? And I think it's along the lines of Ohio State, Michigan. So I'm very much looking forward to this one. You can try and predict it all you want to, and then there are just some years where it's truly unpredictable, and that's the way it should be when you have two teams this evenly matched most often, and with just so much history between them. I mean, who saw Charlie Strong beating Oklahoma when he did, or Mac Brown on his, his last breath as Texas head coach beats an Oklahoma team he had no business beating. And there's just so many stories like that over the years of Texas teams walking in and not knowing what hit them because they're ranked top 5 and they're getting beat by, multiple. I mean, there's just no exact way to predict this game any given year. And that's part of what makes it so magical. So this year, some added intrigue, and I want to see the best players play. So hopefully Mateer is ready to go, and not at the cost of other games this season. But I'm sure nobody wants to play more than he does.
No. And look, I'm leaning toward that he's probably going to play.
I feel that way now. Yeah.
He's going to play. I think that if you've done all this, again, the Steve Sarkisian's not sitting there quaking in his boots one way or the other.
He's preparing either way. He's already said. I mean, they're preparing for him, and it's not like if John Mateer comes out there on the first play, they're going to go, "Oh God, we should have looked at his film." Like they've already done all that. They would be complete morons if there was even a 1% chance that he's going to play, which there always has been. There was always, from the moment the injury was announced, like there's a chance he could still play against Texas. So with that in mind, Texas, if they're doing their jobs that they're paid millions of dollars to do, then yeah, you've already prepared for John Mateer. So he's not going to trot out there and you're like, oh no. But was it maybe wasted time because he doesn't play? Yeah, but better be safe than sorry, especially when so much is on the line. So yeah, that's not a curveball that really is going to affect Texas all that much in my mind. I think they're ready for whatever, and they should be.
Yeah, and I don't they might have been doing a little gamesmanship this week so that the Texas coaches have to spend more time on film that's not going to matter and blah, 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 but
maybe it does. They don't know.
But the fact is also, that used to be a thing when
you didn't have 35 GAs that you could sit there and break down film.
Well, I mean, they have, and consultants and all these other things. There are former head coaches on that staff with a team of GAs that have broken down this film into every which way but loose. And Steve Sarkisian can go, give me the plays where John Mateer runs to the right.
Yeah.
And there's a whole file of them.
Dude, he's had that since Monday morning.
Exactly.
This is not, there's gamesmanship on will he, won't he? But yeah, Texas will be ready for Hawkins or Mateer or most any other scenario that's at least been shown a couple times or has stood out or whatever, and that's their job. And Oklahoma, I'm sure is ready for what happens if Arch Manning goes down. Like, where do we turn? And they saw a guy come in here recently and throw a hell of a pass and go, well, damn, we better be ready for that. So, yeah, I think these two know each other very well and know each other as well as they possibly can going into this game and are ready for anything that's somewhat predictable that could have arisen. And so, yeah, this looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't get much into the lines and all of that, but they're sometimes pretty interesting to look at. Even for somebody who doesn't use them to make decisions on a weekly basis. And I just wanted to see real quick if it's changed that much. Texas 2.5-point favorite still. Looks like maybe it's moving to 1.5 some places. So that's about where it's been, right? Like, I don't think it's been like wildly one direction in Texas' favor this week because of the Mateer news. So maybe I think also nothing has really changed. I mean, there's people saying, oh, he's on track now and are kind of building it up that he could come back. But we kind of had the same theme all week long of he may not. So, yeah, it's not really affecting the line much that I can tell. But can't wait. Tomorrow at 2:30, we'll get to see ourselves. And whoever wins this game, it will be highly important. And whoever loses this game, it will be highly interesting because for Oklahoma, it's either their first loss and then they're 1-1 in the SEC, and then kind of where do we go from here, and where's Mateer at that point, and what does all that look like? Or they're 6-0 and 2-0 in the SEC, and they've got a rivalry win, and they're feeling great about life. And then for Texas, if they go 3-3 and they're 0-2 in the SEC, I mean, the sky's falling. It's not. Don't go click on the Steve Sarkisian's on the hot seat video because that's BS. But it would definitely start to create some cracks where it didn't really appear there were any cracks, at least as far as this season goes, when you started off number 1 in the country. And then if you win, you're 4-2, and you still got some work to do, but you've got a massive top 6 win, and you beat your rival, and you feel like you're back on track. So this is a massive game. Yeah.
I mean, and that's where the John Mateer thing got interesting to me, is that do you risk it, and is the allure of putting your biggest rival out of it for the rest of the year worth the risk? Because
he can't be thinking that way, though. He can't be thinking I need to play to kill Texas.
But like he can't be, but that doesn't mean that it didn't sneak into his head. Right?
Yeah,
like,
I think that's short-sighted, though.
Yeah, it is. It is. Like, you never know what people are thinking.
Sure.
But like, that's what one of the things I thought was, especially now, like, and we've seen it. We saw it a year ago. Ohio State lost to Michigan, won the national title. These games don't kill you anymore if you lose them, if you're still good.
Well, unless you're Texas and you get your third loss in 6 games.
Yeah. But if you're, I mean, like when I say it, 4 teams that can wind up there anyway, right? Like if you lose this one, you're out. But like if you can wind up in the thing anyway and you win, like it doesn't kill you. Like Oklahoma's undefeated right now. If this is one of their 2 losses, it's not going to kill them. Just like we saw with Ohio State a year ago. So the exact opposite, or nearly, of what's happening with John Mateer being probable for Oklahoma is happening to Arizona State and Sam Levitt against Utah. He's unlikely to play. He's listed as questionable or doubtful. Is he doubtful now?
He's doubtful now.
He's doubtful now, and he's been playing through an injury since the Baylor game, and he – whatever happened in practice this week, it just got to the point where he couldn't deal with it anymore. Jeff Sims will be the starter if Sam Levitt is, in fact, not going to play, which doubtful pretty much means you're out. And so Jeff Sims is a carnival ride that you don't really want to go on because he's super athletic, but he's very turnover prone. He's finally in his last year of eligibility. But this is a huge loss going into a very tough place to play at Utah for the Sun Devils, who are pretty much all, healthy where it matters. And Sam Levitt not playing in this game is a huge hit for a game that should have been pretty good. But, man, the drop-off from Sam to Jeff is huge.
Yeah, this sucks, man. And who else is happy about this? Texas Tech, because now they look ahead to 1 week from now and actually a game that might test them. And we'll see where Sam Levitt is at that point. Maybe this is the week that he needs to rest, and he'll be fine for the next one against the Red Raiders. But, this is really unfortunate just because it takes some shine away from what I felt like was going to be one of the sort of unsung games, at least in the national conversation, because there's so many other games like OU and Texas, for example, being played that'll take a lot of the spotlight. But us following the Big 12 as closely as we do, we've put this in a lot of our interviews and asking around to our guests, and I think this is a hell of a game that now, is not quite the way that it looked originally, because one of the main pieces, it's like taking the king piece out of a chess game, right? On one side, it's like, I don't know, it's like maybe it's not a great example as a non-chess player, but it's like it's taking a major piece out of the game and then trying to like play around that and act like it's the same thing that it was. And this isn't exactly what it was. If it's all of a sudden going from Devin Dampier versus Sam Levitt to Devin Dampier versus Jeff Sims, it's just not. I'll be as respectful as I possibly can. I've actually seen Jeff Sims play a lot of football. I mean, this is a massive downgrade. It's a massive downgrade. And is he capable of doing enough to win this football game? Sure. Is it likely? Absolutely not, based on what we've seen from him in his career. So I'll just leave it there that he's a turnover-prone guy who's bounced around as much as he has for a reason. And I saw the customary article. I don't know if Arizona State media got like a little bit of a heads up that Levitt might be out, but there was an article just yesterday in the afternoon talking about, well, if anything were to happen to Sam Levitt, Arizona State's got a reliable veteran quarterback. And I'm like, yeah, I've read this in like 3 other places when he showed up there. Yeah. They're like, no, like, well, at least we got a veteran. And then he plays and you're like, oh my God. So yeah, I think this sucks for Arizona State, and I'm just hoping that it's not anything long-term, but it definitely deflates this game a little bit, and it makes me go from 55-45 Utah or 60-40 Utah to, dude, like 85-15. I mean, honestly, it's just that much of a –
maybe 95-5.
It's that much of a change. So I know Sam Levitt hasn't been perfect, and at times it makes sense as to maybe why he hasn't looked like a world beater at all times, but kudos to him for gritting through it. And not sure exactly what happened in that Baylor game, but a game they went on a walk-off field goal. They had the win over TCU, and never saw this coming, really. So I think Arizona State fans were equally as shocked based on some of the responses that I saw, and most people were. This kind of feels like it did come out of absolute nowhere. So good luck to Levitt. Hope he gets better soon, and especially for next week. I mean, this week, Utah, huge. But, next week is Texas Tech at Arizona State. Yeah. So if he doesn't play in that one, dude, I mean, I just think it kicks the league in the nuts. Yeah. Not even specifically, but like the league as a whole, I think it kicks it in the nuts because it really downgrades a contender that could make a lot of noise.
Yeah, absolutely. Another Big 12 star is out. Dylan Edwards will not play against TCU this weekend. Third full game he will miss. He was knocked out early in Kansas State's Week 0 loss in Dublin. They're 2-4 this season. Combined 13 points just lost here in Waco last week. And so Dylan Edwards continues to deal with those injuries. And he didn't really get they gave him the ball against Baylor. Baylor did a pretty good job against Dylan Edwards specifically for most of the game, but he was not his normal self, and he was not as big of a factor in that game. So, this sucks for Kansas State because we've seen their offense with him and without him. When he's there and healthy and playing, it's a lot better. But this is the curse of the leprechaun does not stop.
Yeah, this is bummer news for Kansas State because, as you said, when he plays, they look a lot different. I mean, it's pretty close to night and day on what they're able to do with him versus without him. And he got a little bit of run in that Baylor game, but not much. I mean, just 10 carries, and he did not play in full, and obviously a very frustrating loss for K-State, but just a frustrating year in general for Dylan Edwards and that program when it comes to dealing with his injuries. And there's a lot of speculation, unfortunately, because of where they are in the grand scheme of things and where just sort of the vibes are. Like the Mojo rankings here, my Mojo/Power rankings, their losses have really been an anchor on them. But they've played well enough in close enough games where it's like, okay, well, you're better than West Virginia. You're better than Oklahoma State, even though the vibes might not be as good at all times because West Virginia knows they're rebuilding. Now they do for sure. Oklahoma State has hope on the horizon because they know this year's a throwaway and it's all about the head coach we hire. But for Kansas State, there's not that. It's like you were supposed to win the Big 12 this year. You were the favorite to win it according to some, and you're not even close. And this is part of the reason why. I don't know what else might be part of the reason why, but yeah, he got a little bit of run last week, and this is just really unfortunate. It leads to the what I was trying to get at, I guess, with like the kind of where they are and the mojo and the vibes and everything. It leads to a lot of speculation about, like, is he going to be there next year? Is he going to go to his third team since leaving Colorado? Is Chris Kleiman going to be there next year? Like, there's so many big picture questions for Kansas State, I feel like, that are arising in the season that you would hope would have been off-season types of questions, but like they're having to deal with these things in season, and the losses only compound that. So yeah, that sucks for K-State. It's been a year, man, for them, for sure.
Yeah. Curse of the leprechaun, man. I don't believe in many things, but it's real. It's very, very all too real.
Yeah, I don't know the history at the back of my hand. I mean, Iowa State just ate their first loss last weekend, and I know it's for the teams that lose typically or whatever, but I mean, yeah, I guess I buy into that somewhat. But
look, you might have missed the top 5 that I did that day. It's not just the last 2 years. So it's like almost every team that loses in this thing that particular year. It's not like it lasts forever, but it's like it's like the leprechaun challenges year. It's like the winner will get to meet pot of gold, and the loser will have the worst year of their life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Shall only be broken when a new loser is crowned. You know.
Yeah. I mean, there's some history to it, so you can take that for what it's worth, and there's enough there to roll with that narrative if you want to. But yeah, whatever it is that's cursed them, the curse of the leprechaun or the Irish or whatever, they're really feeling it this year. You know, you saw him on the sidelines, very emotional last week, and I mean that was a brutal loss. I mean, yeah, that was like for those that didn't watch the end of that game, you thought if you were Kansas State and Baylor both that you won that game like 2 or 3 times, and then you lost that game 2 or 3 times, and then one of you actually won that game and one of you lost, in his case lost, all in the span of like the last 15 minutes of that game. So he was clearly upset, and I'm sure part of that was the loss and as they pile up, but also just whatever health questions he has. So again, I want to see the best play. So hopefully Dylan Edwards can get right, but man, it's just enough to really kill this K-State season and also lead to very unfortunate rumoring about the future and where he is and whether he's a Wildcat and all that kind of stuff, whether that's legitimate or not. That's what happens nowadays with the portal and freedom of movement. So we'll see on his future. But yeah, K-State is trying to fast forward as fast as they can to 2026, I think.
All right. Zach Robinson is the Falcons offensive coordinator. He's also a former Oklahoma State quarterback and probably the fans' choice for who they want. Like if you took a straw poll of who they wanted the most.
Yeah, I would say that based on what I've continued to like listen to and everything, there's some really good Oklahoma State reporters and stuff out there. I would say the couple people that I listened to initially, like Zach Robinson was the clear-cut like top candidate. I think in the couple weeks that have passed, people are like being more open-minded about G.J. Kinney or Eric Morris, especially when you go, hey, do you want the guy, like especially for an offense that's had respectfully Alan Bowman or, you know, who they have currently, like how about the guy who had Cam Ward and Patrick Mahomes and Baker Mayfield and John Mateer all self-scouted and recruited and landed and whatnot. Like that's pretty appealing if you're an Oklahoma State fan. Sure, we'd like that guy. So yeah, Eric Morris. I don't think they're like locked in on Zach Robinson, but I do think if you had to take a straw poll and you say everybody vote, we'll do our primary, then Zach Robinson would be the guy.
He'd be the guy. And this is what he said when asked about it yesterday. I'll kind of leave that, but just honestly, I'm focused on today and progressing this week. That's the answer of a guy who's clearly talked about this,
of course,
and is interested in it as he should be. But so if you're an Oklahoma State fan wondering, because a lot of times, because Zach Robinson has some juice in the NFL right now as well. So he could wind up maybe getting an NFL head coaching job sooner rather than later. If he doesn't want to derail that process by going back to college, then a lot of times you'll kind of get that, well, he's focused on the NFL and, you know, whatever jobs open up this offseason and Oklahoma State, not right now, but he's clearly interested in it. It's clearly something he's thinking about.
Well, he'd be stupid to not be interested in it, just simply to get a bump in pay if that comes around to it. So, yeah, if anybody's in this position, you don't outright say no chance whatsoever because, I mean, unless you're like the head coach at Ohio State or something, and then you would be stupid to say otherwise. But if you're somebody who's got the potential to benefit or upgrade your life at all, then, yeah, leave it murky and let everybody else fight over you. And I think that's probably what's going to happen here. It does him no good to say, yeah, I'm interested. Does him no good to say, no, absolutely not. So he's playing it the way you would expect any coach to in his position. And I don't know what his aspirations are. I mean, if he dreams of being an NFL head coach, then, yeah, you probably should just stay pat where you are because you're only a step or so away from that. But if you also dream of going and leading your college alma mater and where you played your football to glory, then, I mean, yeah, you have that opportunity right now that you may not ever have again. I mean, because the next guy might be great. He might be the next Gundy and coach there for 20 plus years, and you're too old to get a shot again. But
and clearly,
I don't know where his motivation is.
And clearly the most attractive things on a resume for the Oklahoma State board is former Oklahoma State quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, that's worked before. It could certainly work again. So, you wonder if that works against him, but I wouldn't think so at all in this case. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, look, it worked for 20 years.
Yeah.
Why not have it work again with someone else? We're going to take a break right here. When we come back, Zach Barnett, Football Scoop. This is 365 Sports.
That's my go-to guy. Can you fix my smartphone?
Yes.
Do you have car batteries?
Yeah.
What about golf cart batteries?
Of course.
Battery from a G-Fob?
Absolutely.
My boat?
Huge variety.
Toy boat?
Sure.
Motorcycles?
You bet.
My apartment building?
Whole building.
Do you have batteries for my party lights?
Yeah.
Batteries Plus, the experts in charge.
Overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com.
Golfballs.com carries the latest selection of golf balls, clubs, and gear from brands such as Titleist, TaylorMade, and Callaway. Golfballs.com remains the world leader in golf customization. And of course, online at golfballs.com.
UBO Business Services. We are a studies-based service organization that is the best in Texas when it comes to copiers, printers, and scanners. The way we quantify that is through a company used by millions of corporations called Net Promoter Score. What Net Promoter Score looks at are your Google reviews. We have a better Net Promoter Score than H-E-B with a 65 and Ritz-Carlton Hotels with a 70. According to Net Promoter Score, if you're a 70 or above, you're considered world-class in customer service. UBO Business Services is an 86 when it comes to Net Promoter Score. You can find us at ubeo.com, ubeo.com.
It's back 0% for 72 months on all 2025 Ram 1500 trucks during the Drive into Fall event at Allen Samuels in Waco. Check out a 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie Crew Cab with a massive $16,000 off, or a 2025 Ram 1500 Lone Star Crew Cab with $12,000 off, and both at 3.9 for 72 months. And if you drive a Ford, Toyota, or GM, get an extra $1,500 bonus cash. Allen Samuels in Waco.
Come by. Let's be friends.
Did you know that 1 out of every 4 men have symptomatic low levels of testosterone and don't even know it? And if you think you're too young to worry about it, guess again. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, raise your cholesterol, and cause weight gain. Petty Clinic Low T can set up same-day blood screening and results. So if you're tired of being tired, call or go online at pettycliniclowt.com. It's a private clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Affordable, only $165 a month, including lab work, office consultation, testosterone injections, and follow-up visits, compared to $300 or more a month in Dallas or Austin. And you don't have to drive 90 miles one way or the other and fight the traffic. Petty Clinic Low T has board-certified physician consultations and will provide the best form of brand-strength testosterone. Contact Petty Clinic Low T for increased energy, improvement in sexual desire and performance, mood, concentration, even a decrease in body and belly fat. Just off Highway 84 and Old Hewitt Drive in Woodway, pettycliniclowt.com.
That's my go-to guy. Can you fix my smartphone?
Yes.
Do you have car batteries?
Yeah.
What about golf cart batteries?
Of course.
Battery from a G-Fob?
Absolutely.
My boat?
Huge variety.
Toy boat?
Sure.
Motorcycles?
You bet.
My apartment building?
Whole building.
Do you have batteries for my party lights?
Yeah.
Batteries Plus, the experts in charge.
You got batteries for my side-by-side?
Yes.
Replace my flashlight?
Sure thing.
What about my business?
Ooh, good one.
100%.
Batteries for my fleet of trucks?
Gas floor scrubbers?
Yes, and fire panels.
We have pallets of batteries.
Well, what about...
As your go-to guy, if it needs a battery, we have it.
Well, that's all you had to say.
Could have led with that.
Batteries Plus, the experts in charge.
This is 365 Sports.
The 3 o'clock hour is sponsored by Waco Custom Marketplace. Meats, sweets, Texas treats, and a cut above the rest. 425 Lake Air Drive, Waco.
Welcome back, 365 Sports, and Zach Barnett, once again, one of our favorite guests to have on the show. And Zach, what do you make of the magical healing powers of John Mateer?
You know, I don't have much there, but I am interested in the media strategy, I guess you could call it that, of the way Oklahoma's handled this, because clearly they didn't think it was going to be a one-week injury. Otherwise, going to last week, you're playing a non-conference game, so you didn't have to release an injury report for that one. And then you could have just said, oh, well, Mateer was a late scratch. Yeah, he's dealing with something. Don't worry about it. And then this week you list him probable, presumably he plays. And all of us are generally none the wiser that he ever was dealing with anything. And there were ample ways to play this down. Instead, they played it up all the way from stem to stern. So either he plays and this was just completely overblown, or it's a medical miracle, or we're all kind of falling for the okie doke and Mateer warms up. And then Michael Hawkins takes the first snap on Saturday, and Oklahoma just pulls a big psych on us.
Yeah, I mean, it would not be unprecedented, right? Dylan Gabriel just a few years ago warming up in gear, and then he doesn't end up playing in the game. So, yeah, a lot of mind games. And I think we all know, like, we might be getting fooled, but we don't know for certain. So, like, we all just have to wait until tomorrow. And I didn't think about it from the way you put it about the way they kind of reported on it initially. That is an interesting angle to look at it from. And let's say he does play. What does that game now look like to you? And then when he perhaps doesn't play, what does that game look like to you? How much does it change things in the overall outcome, in your opinion?
I think it changes a lot, assuming he plays close to his capabilities. I don't think Texas fears Michael Hawkins throwing the ball outside the numbers very much. Certainly they have respect for his athletic ability, but to put the ball outside the numbers or into those deep quarters, I don't think they have to defend that. With John Mateer, you have to defend the entire field at all times, because certainly he's capable of anything at any moment, for better or for worse. He's got that Manziel, Baker Mayfield type ability. So I think one thing that I credit some Oklahoma media for pointing out is Mateer was often checking, changing routes at the line of scrimmage, communicating with his wide receivers based off the given look. I would expect that would be way down if Michael Hawkins plays. It's going to be a lot more what you see is what you get. So I think this is we could get here Saturday evening and say, yeah, Mateer's ability decided the game against a limited Texas offense. But at the same time, I think Oklahoma, if he plays, might be risking its entire season, because if he takes a helmet right to the thumb, you could put yourself back. Who really knows what could happen if he takes the wrong hit at the wrong time? The precedent I would pull to is the 2009 game when Sam Bradford injured his shoulder, missed the next month, came back for the Texans game, got injured again, and didn't play the entire season. So I think everything's on the table on Saturday.
Zach, what are your thoughts on the Bill Belichick situation at North Carolina? And look, it's not been good. It's the bye week, so then it gives local reporters time to figure out what's going on there. There's clearly some smoke from at least part of the leadership on how do we get out from under this quickly. Where do you think that ends and when?
To answer your first question, I'm not surprised at all by this. Bill Belichick, for anyone who's paying attention, clearly lost his fastball a while ago in New England. And I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on the goings and comings of what happened in New England, but making Joe Judge and Matt Patricia your co-offensive coordinators, his insistence on promoting his son over other people, and just the results on the field, the results in the draft. This was a guy who was not throwing 96 on the corners like he was for so long. And then you have Michael Lombardi as your right-hand man, who I could say comfortably is the biggest fraud in all of football, professional or college. You look at what he find me an interview where he did not name drop Bill Belichick, Al Davis, or all of the above. He's clearly coasted on those guys' accomplishments, of which he contributed very little. I had an ability to hear him speak like a decade ago, and he was oddly confrontational. He would get into these little gotchas like, well, you're an offensive coach and you think you need to be better on third down. Well, Mike Zimmer wants you on third down, so you better be better on first and second down. Like this checkmate type point he thought he was making. And it's just like, okay, well, I'm still going to be in third down 8 to 12 times any given Saturday or Sunday. So I should probably spend some time on my third down offense because it's an inevitability. So I found the guy wholly unimpressive. And the fact that Bill Belichick is surrounding himself with him, Jordan Hudson, Matt Lombardi, who is not qualified to be North Carolina's quarterbacks coach. I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of like, I don't know about this one. And there's a lot of people going, see, told you so, even though you're not taking that credit just yet. But yeah, what a weird situation. And you're listing off all these names. It's like the worst rogues gallery ever, like Mike Lombardi and Jordan Hudson and all these people. But yeah, what a show out there in Chapel Hill. How intrigued are you by Indiana and Oregon tomorrow?
I would say quite intrigued. Indiana came away, obviously they lost to Ohio State and Notre Dame last season, but came away from those losses, did not feel like they were outclassed athletically. We could debate that. Certainly Ohio State was a level above them, and Ohio State won the national championship. They're a level above everyone else. But what really was different from those teams was quarterback. You had Curtis Rourke, who had an entire career at Ohio, was the MAC Player of the Year at that level. Was just a nice college quarterback, but was not an elite NFL guy. I think Fernando Mendoza has a chance to play this weekend into Heisman Trophy, #1 pick type conversations if he goes out and does what he's done so far this season against Oregon. Obviously, tall task, and his counterpart, Dante Moore, might be the #1 pick in this draft because what we've seen so far from the supposed top guys, they have not played up to their billing. So I think if Fernando Mendoza levels up his play so far of what we've seen this season, Indiana has a puncher's chance. Does that mean they're going to win the game? I mean, Oregon's #2, #3 team in the country right now. They're playing at home, so it's certainly a tall task. But I think Indiana is not just some nice Cinderella story. This is I think a legit top 10 team.
Does Illinois have a puncher's chance against Ohio State?
If Illinois got to start every single possession from the Ohio State 20, yes. Otherwise, no. Ohio State's given up 2 touchdowns in 5 games. They've either defended 8 or 9 possessions inside their red zone, giving up 0 touchdowns. So, no, in reality, no.
Zach, you're familiar with University of North Texas, and they got a big one coming up tonight, man. The first sellout at their stadium since its inception over 10 years ago. USF rolling into town with a top 25 ranking. We had Eric Morse on a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about Cam Ward and John Mateer and Patrick Mahomes and Baker Mayfield, and I was just like, that's such an insane resume to have of scouting and finding and recruiting guys. But where is he, like, in the conversations, especially around this area when it comes to, like, the next level up of head coaching candidates? And any thoughts on UNT having a big opportunity tonight?
A lot of thoughts. So I grew up in Denton. My dad does their radio. I'm headed there as soon as we hang up here to nice. Go cover that game and check that scene out. And in my entire life of following North Texas football, in my opinion, they've kind of captured the zeitgeist of the disparate North Texas fan base 2 different times. One was during that Darrell Dickey run when they were winning 5 straight Sun Belt championships in the early 2000s. I recall Bouts Field having 28,000 people for when Baylor came to town. Obviously, this was pre-Art Briles Baylor, and North Texas won that game 52-14. And then in the Seth Luttrell era, I think it was 2017, 2018, they had Louisiana Tech in town. They'd started 4-0. It was the year they'd gone and absolutely embarrassed Arkansas. Was the first or second home game after that, if I'm remembering correctly. And darn near had the place full against a rival. And they ended up losing that game on a late field goal. And never really, they won a lot of games after that, but never really capitalized on that moment that they had right there. So now here's another opportunity with the added benefit that if you win your conference, you can compete for a national championship. So everything a group of 5 program ever dared to dream of is now right in front of the Mean Green if they can go out and capture it. So I'm excited to be there. I think Eric Morris, I mean, in terms of being able to identify talent, hidden talent, develop quarterbacks, he's as good as anyone. I'd be very surprised if Oklahoma State was not interested in him because he's demonstrated the type of things that Oklahoma State's going to need to do to rise back to the top of the Big 12. So can he go out and sustain what they've done on defense? Can he win recruiting battles with the best of the best? Remains to be seen, but he's got quite a story to tell.
Bama and Mizzou is a game that normally I think, like in the absence of Red River, like it's probably getting a lot of run this week because Mizzou's been really, really good. Bama for the first time can maybe like fly under like in second position this week to the games. Do you think that Mizzou has enough to get past Bama, given that they're the Tide have just been on a roll lately?
Yeah, the Alabama offense is in a whole lot of rhythm right now with they're one of the few SEC teams probably outside of Oklahoma and John Mateer that really feels like they've got an A1 operator at the joystick of their offense right now with Ty Simpson. So that's certainly going to give you a whole lot of comfort. If you've gone on the road to beat Georgia at night, certainly you think you can go to Missouri at 11 a.m. and handle what they have to offer. But Missouri can win this game. I think they average like close to 300 rushing yards per game, first by a mile in the SEC. They're not going to get there, but I certainly think they need to be above 220, 225. I think they need a up-tempo game with a lot of possessions. I don't think they're really going to stop Alabama a whole lot, so I think they need to gun for like a 42-38 type win. And I think they need to get Bo Prabula heavily involved in the run game. He's kind of picked his spot so far, but he has that ability. Obviously, 22 eyeballs are going to be on Ahmad Hardy every time he's even threatening to touch the football with good reason. He's the best running back in college football. So Bo Prabula needs to take the most of his opportunities, whether it be through the air or on the ground. But Missouri can win this game. I mean, and then if you're Alabama, this is the biggest Missouri game in 10 years, 20, 25, 30, 50. For Alabama, it's the biggest game this week. So I don't think Alabama is going to be snowed by anything that Faurot Field has to throw at them.
So I don't typically like wading into like some of the portal stuff and all that, especially on a Friday right before game week. But that's when we talk to you, and you talk to a lot of coaches, and you have obviously opinions yourself. What are your thoughts on the new transfer portal dates established this week, and how much of a future lawsuit bag of or how many future lawsuits is this going to create, and just what do you think about it?
My ultimate thought is that we need to this will never be solved unless we eliminate spring football and just kind of turn the entire spring into portal season, because the tail is still wagging the dog a bit in terms of having the free agency before the season even ends. But it's better than what we've had, where it opened December 20th or somewhere around there. You talk to coaches, and it's never going to be perfect. So if it's not perfect, they're going to find something to complain about. But I think it's certainly an improvement on what we've had. Coaches were not unanimous, but near unanimous in wanting to eliminate April, and they've done that. So now you have one shot to get in there. I think Max Olson for ESPN does a great job of chronicling that, and kind of made a career out of chronicling the transfer portal. And he says that the numbers of players continues to increase every single year entering the portal. But I think the number of dudes that enter the portal is going to be lower than it's been in the years past, just because schools are so much smarter. They've realized now it's so much cheaper to keep your own guys than to lose them and then go acquire someone else's that's actually proven that they can do something at the FBS level. So you're always going to have, I think it was the entire all Sun Belt team is no longer on the Sun Belt, led by Ahmad Hardy, who was at ULM last season. So you're certainly going to have that, but the amount of Power 4 to Power 4 transfers, I think, is going to it's never going to be eliminated, but it's going to level off, I think.
Zach, the one I think is probably the bigger issue than when it is or how long it is right now is that the coaching portal one, where they have to wait until the new coach is announced. Then they have to wait 5 days after that. I just have a feeling that one's not going to fly in the way that they're hoping it does.
Yeah, and I think what they're trying to prevent, and fortunately, we haven't seen it happen. You've seen players here and there enter the portal, but we've already have 4 Power 4 schools that have moved on from their head coaches, and you could have disaster scenarios where suddenly, I mean, you're like a 6-man Texas high school, and suddenly you can't even field a team. Yeah. That's a disaster that no one wants to happen. So that's what they're trying to prevent. But I'm with you, Paul. It seems like it's Tom Mars's biggest dream to be able to sue another NCAA regulation out of existence.
Last thing for me, Zach, another game of intrigue that took a little bit of a hit in the last 24 hours. Arizona State in the top 25 at Utah. Do you believe that Jeff Sims can lead the Sun Devils to victory in Salt Lake City?
No, and it's unfortunate for me because Arizona State is a team I own in this fantasy league that me and some high school and college guys are in. So I would greatly benefit from Arizona State going on the road to win this game. Jeff Sims has just been a guy for 6 years. He's kind of like the Udonis Haslem of college football. It's like, how is this guy still on a roster? It seems like he should be a GA at this point that's just wearing a uniform. And that's kind of what he is. Unfortunately, he's going to have to be a starting quarterback. And Arizona State, after Utah, they've got the Red Raiders coming to town next Saturday.
Zach Barnett, footballscoop.com. Zach, one of the best in the business. Enjoy that game tonight. It is one of the best quarterback battles that we're going to see maybe all year in the country too. So I think that's something that's pretty cool about this, where Drew Messemaker and Byron Brown, man, heck, that's a heck of a 1-2 punch for a game.
Yeah, I'll admit I'm going to this game wanting North Texas to win. That'd be a better story for me to write for Football Scoop. Yeah. So if they could keep Byron Brown under 75 rushing yards, I think they have a great chance.
Yeah. So enjoy it, Zach. Enjoy that game on a Friday night. I know that the entire, North Texas community is fired up about it, and these haven't come along that often for them. So Zach Barnett, footballscoop.com. Zach, enjoy the game.
Thank you.
Yeah. Craig, I would, that'd be one I'd like to actually go to if I could have.
Yeah, should have planned it out.
Yeah,
should have thought about that in the last couple of days, although I'm sure tickets are hard to come by. But yeah, that'd be a nice game to be at. And Zach, as he mentioned, the North Texas connections, father on the radio and all that. And so it looked like he was ready to get out there. Like I would be too if I was in driving distance, because that's the game to be at tonight for sure. And I think when you know the history of UNT like he does, and kind of the moments that you've seen sort of come and go, you realize what an opportunity this is tonight. And they've got no classes today. Like, they've sold out for the first time. This game's been built up, and so I can't wait to see what the actual result of it is. And you're right, Messemaker and Byron Brown, two of the more entertaining quarterbacks we've seen so far this year, going one-on-one. And obviously there's more in play than just that matchup, but that's a couple of really good quarterbacks you can watch later on tonight. And, I don't want to continue to poo-poo, speaking of quarterbacks, on Jeff Sims, and I'll let social media do all of that. But this would not be Penn State rolling into Westwood and losing to UCLA, who was winless. Shocking. But it's like a couple levels above that to me to see Jeff Sims go lead Arizona State into Salt Lake City and win this game. Like, that's what it's turned into for me, from like coin flip where I lean Utah and picked Utah because it's in Salt Lake, to like, I would be shocked if Arizona State won this game. Now, look, when you got Jordan Tyson, and I know they've got guys coming back, and they had really, the start of the week felt good about their health going into this one. And then this Levitt thing kind of comes out of nowhere. It's going to be an uphill battle. Now, not impossible. It's like I said, it's not UCLA beating Tennessee or anything like that, but it is a much bigger uphill battle than it was before the Sam Levitt news came out.
Yeah.
So good luck to Jeff Sims. I mean, he is a super athletic dude. I've seen a lot. And he loves to turn the ball over, and crazy stuff happens when he's back there. So
I remember watching one of his starts in Nebraska, where I watched the first quarter where I can't even remember who it was against, where the opposing defense wasn't quite ready for how athletic he was. And it looked like, oh my God, Jeff Sims is about to have his moment. It's finally happened for him. And then as soon as that first quarter was over, he fumbled the ball almost every time he touched it after that. Like he is the most turnover-prone quarterback you may ever see in your life. It's just, and it's a sad story because he's got a really cool like recruiting story of when he came, like all of that. He was highly sought after, and when he initially committed FSU, and then he changed to Georgia Tech, and like he was kind of supposed to be the guy who helped bring Georgia Tech back. It just, the turnovers just outweigh the athleticism in such a way that it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and he's been sparingly used here over the last couple of years, but he'll be the guy. So plenty experienced, and Arizona State just needs him to win tomorrow and then go from there and see where Sam Leavitt is. I really hope Sam Leavitt's ready for Tech, man. That would really take a shine off that game. No matter how you tried to spin it, it would, and it's taken some off of this, but hey, it's college football. Crazy stuff happens. I would not bet on the Arizona State Sun Devils going into this one, but crazier things have happened, and we'll see how that all plays out tomorrow night.
Yep, absolutely. In about 20 minutes yesterday, Smokey got to talk to Scott Drew for about 10 minutes. They've got an exhibition tonight at the Foster Pavilion. So we're going to play that interview. We have Mickey Spagnola. We've got Josh Neighbors all coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. And then we go into the top 5 in the carnival and all of that. But coming up next, Craig and I will jump into a couple of the other headlines we have not gotten to yet, including the Big Ten is just hell-bent on ruining everything. This is 365 Sports.
I'm Camille Johnson with Camille Johnson Realtors. We specialize in selling residential real estate agent all across our community, and we love serving all types of families. We have been in business at Camille Johnson Realtors for almost 9 years, and I have been a residential real estate agent for almost 40 years. And we love our partnership with Sikkim 365. So thank you for partnering with me, and thank you so much to all of my clients that have made our company a success.
No car payments for 90 days when you bring your auto loan home to Genco. Get 4.79% for 48 months and make no payments until 2026. Plus, get entered to win 3 months of no car payments. Bring your auto loan home to Genco. Lower your interest rate, save money, and no payments until 2026. For details, go to GencoFCU.org.
My money, my future, my credit union. Genco.
This is 365 Sports.
The 3 o'clock hour is sponsored by Waco Custom Marketplace. Meats, sweets, Texas treats, and a cut above the rest. 425 Lake Air Drive, Waco.
Welcome back, 365 Sports. Paul and Craig with you today. Craig, Oklahoma State finally knows who their starting quarterback is going to be for this weekend. Sam Jackson V, who was playing wide receiver for them, correct?
Yeah, Sam Jackson, wide receiver, also a former quarterback at one Big 12 school for a blip, and also out, at what was a PAC school is now an ACC school. Just trying to get my realignment brain working in 2025. But yeah, Sam Jackson, who was at TCU once upon a time. He was at Cal, and then went to Auburn last year and switched to receiver, and then came to Oklahoma State and was playing receiver. Is now the starting quarterback for Oklahoma State. Makes total sense, right? Yeah. That whole line there for Sam Jackson. But yeah, that's his career path, and he is in line because they don't have really many other options at this point.
They went and got a quarterback in the portal, like literally 3 weeks ago. I think it was about 3 weeks ago, and he put up numbers when he played before. But 3 weeks ago was the first time they said, "This is how we run this play at Oklahoma State." So. Doug Meacham feels he's not ready at all yet to really contribute.
Well, and when you grab guys like that, like it's great when you go grab a guy like that, when they did it, I mean, that was the first red flag of don't expect him to contribute. But even when you go get these guys in the offseason, it's like the Jeff Sims thing.
Yeah.
It's like where there's an Arizona State writer who actually published an article. I'm not trying to call this person out, but I've seen this article before, and I know what happens on the other side of it, of like, he's super well-traveled and veteran, and he's played a lot. And it's like, what are you not telling us, though, about all the interceptions and the fumbles and so like, yeah, like you can paint it a certain way. So you can say, oh, yeah, this guy's got some experience. It's like, yeah, but at what level versus what he's walking into? So, like not somebody that you could really turn to and rely upon to help you in a pinch like Oklahoma State has found itself here with the quarterback position. So to Sam Jackson they go, and I mean he's played some quarterback, as I mentioned. 2021 with TCU had one attempt. Had a handful of rushes that year as a freshman. In 2022 with TCU, had 9 carries and a couple of TDs, had 5 pass attempts. He was 5 for 5. Then he goes to Cal, played a lot more there, started there for the Golden Bears, 51 and 96, barely over 50% completion percentage, 5 TDs, 2 picks. I mean, nothing to write home about. And then played just a tiny bit for Oklahoma State at this point. So yeah, man, he's been around, and he's been around the offense, and we'll see what he can do, man. I mean, it's one of those situations where nothing's expected of you, quite honestly, if you're Oklahoma State at this point. I mean, we all are awaiting the big move at the end of the year or in the tail end of this year where you show us your cards as to where your head coach is going to come from, and then what the details of that program will look like after that. And anything from now until then is pretty much like, hey, make the best of it that you can. So that's what Doug Meacham's trying to do. And I guess he feels Sam Jackson gives him the best opportunity to try and do something this weekend. So yeah, we'll see what happens, but it's not on the surface like, oh, it's just some random receiver and he's playing quarterback. Like he started off as a quarterback and then moved to wide receiver. And now here he finds himself. So back at the quarterback spot, as he is in his 4th team in his 5th year.
Yeah. So, it's bad news for Oklahoma State all the way around. This season has been even more of a disaster.
Yeah, we don't want to hear you complaining, Kansas State. You guys got nothing on what's going on in Stillwater right now. Yeah. I mean, it could be worse. Although Kansas State's like, we want to go get a new head. Some of them, at least, like at this point, or I have seen there's enough people now that are like, well, kind of feel like maybe Kleiman's warned, but I mean, they're not there yet and may not be there for a while, but there's enough grumbling going on. But yeah, it's nothing compared to what Oklahoma State fans have been going through now, not just recently, but for like a couple of years almost now at this point. Last year we just forget about how bad that was because we're on to how bad it is now, but it's been bad for a while, even though relatively recently it was really good. It just turned really fast, and now it's been bad for a good long while.
No, it's been like a forest fire for them.
Yeah.
Like,
it spread quickly.
Yeah, it spread quickly. So to the Big Ten, the Buzzkill Conference.
Mm-hmm.
Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti is supportive of NCAA tournament expansion, and why not? That's his answer to everything. And if he had it his way, the tournament would deploy straight seeding that would likely send the vast majority of automatic qualifiers to the tournament's play-in round. So not only does Tony Petitti favor the first stage of ruining the tournament. He prefers the full-on bullet in the head mode of it and taking Cinderella and pushing them out of it as far as he can push them out of it.
Yeah, I don't like this guy having an effect on college sports, but nothing speaks more to how college sports is nowadays than some of the ideas that come out of his mouth and things that he's pushing for, which would, completely change what we've known for a while, which is not always a bad thing. Sometimes change is good. I think the change to 12 playoff teams is better than 4 in my personal opinion, although we've got a very small sample size. But that wasn't perfect. It needed tweaks. So everything can always use a good tweak for the most part. But every time he talks, I just feel like he could not be farther from a college fan when it comes to college sports. Like, he just does not strike me as a guy who's really a fan of what makes college sports. He strikes me as just another money-hungry, soulless businessman, which we are just all consumed by in this country 24/7 nowadays. Well, I mean, it sucks.
It seems like he's got one play. Now, remember, he was at Major League Baseball as the COO when they decided to expand the baseball playoffs, which I would say for baseball in the modern era has been a good thing.
Yes, but it was not as popular as March Madness.
No, it was not.
Yeah.
So
they needed a tweak.
But just because that was the medicine that they needed, it doesn't mean it's the medicine that everybody else needs. So what his thing is, okay, well, here's what I did at Major League Baseball. We expanded the playoffs and it worked out really well because it made more teams stay competitive for longer. The trade deadline hasn't become this big sell-off of teams. It's become really intriguing. It was a good move. It worked then. Well, now in the Big Ten, he's like, okay, we're going to shove the college football playoff so full of teams, it's gonna be like a burrito that you can't get your.
Yeah, his whole message is like, and to be very clear, he's not saying this is going to happen or this is like, but this is his idea, because to sum it up as precisely as I can, he doesn't have probably as much influence as we're giving him credit for, but he does have a lot. He is just of the belief, to put it as simplistic as possible, that more access is better.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with that.
No.
Yeah.
It's not. It was the case in baseball where they probably didn't have enough.
Right.
Like for a long time, because baseball is so ingrained in its traditions that sometimes they don't realize, like, oh, well, maybe we shouldn't have the same playoff structure as we did when we had 16 less teams than we do now. Maybe we need to expand that out. Maybe things have changed. Maybe we need to do some different things. Like that's one thing, but yeah, more access is better is not necessarily the thing for everybody. And then when you just come right out and tell the fans of something like, hey, you know, the thing that you really love about the NCAA tournament, we're going to wreck it. We're just going to wreck it, which they would by moving it to 76 in a lot of cases anyway, which is why none of the fans of this want this, but we're getting it, force fed to us. Probably whether we like it or not. And hopefully that this part of it doesn't happen either, because sometimes these bad ideas can catch wildfire because of the self-serving nature of the conferences now.
Yeah, I don't think that, it didn't kill the tournament when they went from 64 to 68. I don't think it would kill the tournament to go from 68 to 76. But at what point is it too much? I think you're starting to dangle really close to that line of where you've got a couple play-in games there in that midweek, and now you're playing like a dozen of these games. So I don't know that we need that. I know it'd be great for just some random school to be able to, some random school from Michigan to Oakland, Michigan, to get in there and have more opportunity. But would it serve them more, or does it serve Vanderbilt more, or Purdue? Because his big bitch is that they had a couple teams on the line last year, just like Sankey with the college football playoff. So common theme is these two, the most powerful guys, trying to change things because they're unhappy about how they didn't have more teams in when they already had more than most. And it's never enough. And that's the thing, is I just don't think it's ever enough. It will never be enough until every single one of their teams has postseason access, regardless of whether they earned it or not. That's maybe not how they really are going to try to execute it. But at this point, that's how it comes across to me. Yeah. It's it's just never enough. It'll never be enough until they have everything. And as we've seen, and I'm not trying to speak, but it's still not ever going to be enough. Even if they got all 18, 16 in, they want first round buys for half those schools then, and then that wouldn't be enough. And then it's like, well, we shouldn't have to play any of these small, like, and I know people, that's ridiculous. No, it's not. No, it's look around the world. Like, no, it's not ridiculous to think that the money hungry and the powerful are going to keep trying to take as much as they can. So I think if it sucks for the smaller schools, maybe it doesn't happen and maybe it's not a concern. I don't mind towing the line on the number of teams if it's literally 8 teams. My big concern, to swing it all back around, is when you start talking about the seeding now. And that's where I'm like, okay, now you're playing with the fabric of it and really trying to rig this thing in your favor to the point I'm talking about of like where it's never enough. Well, now it's not enough that we have more teams, so you're going to have a couple more teams get in. Now you want to dictate, much like the college football playoff, of where those teams are and how they're looked at and where they get placed with strength of schedule and, things that benefit, let me guess, you. And so I don't think that he or really any of these people have the greater interest in mind. I think they're all self-serving and trying to do what they can for themselves. And so long as you keep that in mind, he's not a villain or anything. He's just the dude doing what he can for the Big Ten. But in the big picture, yeah, he's a villain if you're a fan of the Big 12 or especially the Southland or conferences like that.
Yeah, and look, I view a lot of these guys in a at least semi-villainous role because, I mean, like this is not good. This is not what the fans want, and
I think there are some, like, it's like anything else though, man. You can't really take it to social media because there will always be somebody who agrees, no matter how unpopular something is, for the sake of just being the one person who doesn't agree with it. So I can't really even tell what's true anymore because there's so much just BS. I've seen a couple people that they just want more basketball though.
Yeah.
Or they just gamble, and that's the only reason they want more basketball. But yeah, if you're just if you're taking out the money that you can make gambling on more games, or you're just a basketball junkie, which there's nothing wrong with that, and you just want the best tournament possible, then yeah, I don't think we're going in the direction of the best. I think we have the best tournament possible already, and I think the more that you tweak it and start to go, well, our middle is the better than their best because we're richer. So we deserve a higher seed than the team from Brooklyn who magically worked their way into the tournament. Like, I think that's when you're messing with the fabric of the whole operation. And that's when March Madness loses some of its magic. And you got to be really careful about that.
Yeah. I mean, I know that if you look at this face, you're going to say this is a hypocritical thing, but just because there's a 96-ounce steak on the menu doesn't mean you order it.
Right.
Like, it doesn't mean you order it. Like, good for you if you want to give the old Big Texan a try.
Just because there's more beers in the cooler doesn't mean you need to keep drinking them.
No,
You got a good buzz, man. You don't need 5 more of those just because they're there. Yeah. I mean, you can use that example in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, just it's fine. Like,
right.
It's fine. We're all full. We're full. We don't need more. A 16-ounce steak would have gotten the job done.
Right.
Bottom line. So, and here's the other thing. The Big Ten is doing. They're nearing a vote to accept private equity. Per sources, the framework calls for the formation of a new entity, Big Ten Enterprises, which would hold all league-wide media rights and sponsorship contracts. Shares of Big Ten Enterprises would fall to the league's 18 schools, the conference, and the Capital Group, an investment fund that's tied to the University of California pension system. Yahoo Sports first reported the involvement of the UC investment fund, and the pension fund is not a private equity firm, and the UC fund valuation proved to be higher than other competing bids. This has been attractive to the Big Ten and its schools, according to sources. Larry Scott tried to do this in the Pac-12 a few years before he got fired ultimately, and he wanted like straight up and down old school private equity, a corporation, something had, white bone capital, he wanted that. The leaders of the conference were like, no, we don't want to give that up. But here, now that this is slightly changed because this pension fund is not a PE firm, it's different, but here we are. There's going to be a capital infusion into the Big 12, more than likely, or Big 10.
The Big 10. Yeah, I mean, I don't quite know what to make of it until they get into more of the details. 15-year contractual hold, performance-based distribution model similar to the ACC, 8-figure school bonuses in 2037. And I also saw where this would basically lock in their grant of rights into the 2040s.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what that would mean as far as taking on more schools. I'm sure if you're a Utah fan convinced that you're going to the Big Ten or any other schools, Georgia Tech, that have dreamed of that, Florida State or whatever, like I think there's some movement that's going to go on here in the next few years. Although I think there are a bunch of people pounding their chests that are going to be fun to watch on the other side of this thing from some schools. Not a Florida State fan, but for fans of other schools potentially. So I don't know what this means in terms of realignment. Like all of a sudden you have all this extra money. Does it mean you bring on more schools and you're easier able to do that? That's one branch of this that I'm interested in. Or the fact that you're locking in a grant of rights to 2040. Does that mean like you're saying we're closing the gates, we're going to add a couple more, and then we're going to close the gates and just leave it where it is before we become like a 30-team league, and then we're not even a conference. We're an actual like league, the size nearly of the NFL. Yeah, I have a lot of questions like that, more so than the execution of this and where the money's coming from and everything. I think on the surface, it seems like it probably sucks for college sports as we know it. I think what really sucks is when I see a tweet that Ross followed up with, or actually it was Pete Nakos. So Ross Dellinger says, an investment fund of the University of California pension system is the entity in deep negotiations with the Big Ten over a $2.4 billion infusion of cash and a stake in the league's new business subsidiary, which they would then start like Big Ten Enterprises, and it would hold the TV rights and their commercial business and things like that. That Pete Nakos follows up and says, source, get this, Paul. So $2.4 billion infusion in cash for the Big Ten. They're going to have Big Ten, whatever, enterprises or something like that. So that's enough, right? Pete Nakos. Sources have told On3 Sports that the Big Ten's potential $2.4 billion in immediate cash to its 18 members would not impact the school from taking on its own PE cash. And this sport's ruined, dude. Like, I mean, what are we even doing? So don't worry, Michigan, you just got all the money, all this extra money from this deal, but you can still go cut your own private equity deal, which I'm sure somebody at some point will probably do. It's only a matter. I don't want to be like fear mongering and everything, but it just feels like this is going a direction of we're going to have the Saudis owning like Cincinnati in the near future. You know what I mean? Like that's just where we're going. And I know that's like probably a really extreme reaction. I don't really believe that's inevitable, but I don't think we're as far away from it as maybe you think when we're starting to just go like, how can we take money in? Where can we get it from? Who has the money? How can we get the money? And that's all they're worried about. So on the cusp of literally minutes after a report about a $2.4 billion infusion, the schools are still, at least somebody's in Pete Nakos' ear saying, but this isn't going to stop anybody from still going and cutting their own side deal too. It's like, I get you got to pay the players now, but holy crap, where is this need for money really coming from? Because I know y'all aren't taking any off the top school presidents and athletic directors, and I know in some cases they've had to. In cases where maybe there's heat on them and they kind of feel they need to, like Gundy taking a pay cut last year or something to help NIL, yeah. Mike Norvell, like there's instances of it.
Brian Kelly did, yeah.
Brian Kelly. So you've had it happen when their job's on the line. But so you got all that new money coming in and you still feel the need to go cut side deals. Like I know the players are getting paid now, but holy crap, what are you paying them? MLB money? Yeah. Like, are they on NBA contracts now? Like, geez Louise, dude. So, yeah, I don't know what all this means other than we're just waiting further and further into Wall Street owning college football is basically what it feels like. Or we're not owning college football, but having a very real stake in the workings of college football, which I don't love that idea.
No. Look, it wasn't meant to be this. It wasn't meant to be what it was either. It's meant to be somewhere in the middle, but we don't do that. We don't do that at all. So.
Yeah, I mean, again, devil will be in the details like anything else, but the Big Ten on the forehead of this. So Mr. Tony Petitti getting the Big Ten, this whatever private capital, whatever you want to refer to it precisely. I'm not trying to be incorrect there. It's just not my area of expertise, but you got that. And still, how can we grab more money? Oh, we'll go cut our own specific individual side deals. Yeah. Great. Cool.
Thanks.
And we'll do jersey patches, and we'll do field logos, and like there's a never ending need for money, never ending.
We're still going to ask the fans to donate to NIL, and we're still going to raise ticket prices.
Yeah,
and we're still going to do all these things. Yeah,
like I know they're getting paid now, but this much money, that you need to do all of these things. It's like no, the dam just broke, and now the true colors are showing.
Yeah, absolutely. When we come back, Scott Drew and Smokey. This is 365 Sports. All is back, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right, and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as $1. Download the app today and sign up with promo code SPORTS365 to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code SPORTS365. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog. Make picks. Win money.
SoftwareDeals.com is here for one reason: to partner with IT professionals and provide them with fantastic software and licensing at ridiculously low prices. We don't have the overhead of a multinational, publicly traded tycoon corporation. We can afford to give those savings to you and your buyers. We know the struggles of small businesses and what it takes to stay afloat in a competitive marketplace.
A leader within the industry, Respawn fuses more than 75 years of ergonomic expertise with gaming culture to create best-in-class chairs. We believe that comfort and performance should be inclusively designed into every gaming chair we create, which is why we're immersed in the gaming community. Respawn is for every gamer. Our products are for professionals and casual players and everyone in between. We don't just make good-looking gear, we bring experience. Visit respawnproducts.com today and find your chair for the next great adventure.
At Prime Putt, we obsessed over every little detail, working with experts to innovate something as simple as a putting mat. We focused on the things that mattered most to golfers: wanting to lower their scores, perfect feedback, developing good form, lifetime durability. Prime Putt is a mat that will perform perfectly and last forever. PrimePutt.com.
What do you want? What's that really good non-alcoholic beer I keep hearing about?
Do you have that really great non-alcoholic beer that I keep seeing?
You mean athletic? You're looking at it.
It's athletic. Ask for it.
This is 365 Sports. The 3 o'clock hour is sponsored by Waco Custom Marketplace. Meats, sweets, Texas treats, and a cut above the rest. 425 Lake Air Drive, Waco.
It's basketball season. Yeah, it is. It really is. Exhibition games. Grand Canyon, Bryce Drew, Scott Drew, Baylor tomorrow, 4 o'clock, the Foster Pavilion. It's back, Scott. I mean, it seems like it really does seem like it's been forever. Just the fact you're going to play against somebody else, how much excitement is there with that?
Well, this time of year, you're always like, man, that was quick. We didn't get everything in. But the good thing is, and the reason we wanted to scrimmage this early was, as you know, with so much turnover, I think someone projected 71% of the starting lineups in the Big 12 are going to be new players this year. The sooner we could see our players against other competition, we could find out areas we needed to work on and have enough time to work on them before the season began. So that's why we wanted to play a game early. And obviously playing against my brother's team, we don't have to worry about them getting any information out, getting any information out. At the same time, it's a great opportunity to see my dad and spend a little time with my brother and before the madness of season.
Are you guys going to have some big, huge, like Thanksgiving-style dinner tonight?
Yeah, we'll try to make sure they're really sluggish and tired. Come on, no.
Yeah.
But I will see that they get in later tonight, so I'll see them the next day. We'll break down the film Friday night and hopefully help each other, and then get a chance to spend a little time Saturday before he heads back to Phoenix.
I know you had the overseas trip and got a lot of games in, but there were some players that weren't a part of that. Do you even know the names of your players yet?
I got them, and I got the numbers down too. So,
yeah.
But I tell you, people want to know about the team, and every year you do your best trying to put together a group that represents Waco and Central Texas and Baylor University in a way to make everybody proud. And it's a fun group, athletic group. We had some success overseas, and we'll see just how we stack up. GCU, I know, was picked third in their conference, and Mountain West Conference is a great conference. So it'll be a good opportunity just for us to see where we need to grow and get better. But I know the fans will like this team likes each other, and we have more size, more length than last year, and we do have some athleticism, and hopefully that'll be on display at some point throughout the year where we can get some Sports Center top 10 plays because we get them in practice.
Dan Skillings, I remember when Cincinnati visited the Foster Pavilion when it first opened, and he immediately stood out to me, and I know that you've played against him, so that's a guy I've seen play, and he's a slasher. And then, of course, there's names people might be familiar with because of lineage with Iguodala and a few others. Cameron Carr was there but couldn't play, redshirted. Caden Powell's a midway high guy. Well, that's pretty cool. But other than that, it's really just a bunch of new moving parts. But you feel like these guys get along, and you can already tell that even though it's October.
Yeah, the one thing is people that are attracted to Baylor are hopefully attracted to it, not only because of their chance to develop and play at a high level and the success we've had, but they understand the mission of Baylor University and preparing champions for life with character formation, spiritual growth, academics, and athletics. And if you bring in a great teammate, high character, young individual, usually it's easier for them to all get along and bond. And I think our staff, even though the portal makes you make decisions a lot quicker coming in the springtime, we've done a really good job, and God's blessed us with guys that like one another, compete hard, and fun to go to practice with each and every day. Now we'll get a chance to see, hopefully it's fun to go to games too, because we all know when you win in games, it makes it a lot more enjoyable in practice.
Yeah, no, it really, really does. You know, you are, and it doesn't mean there haven't been times along the way when you are disappointed or even maybe flustered or frustrated, but you've always been so positive, Scott. How much of a challenge like this? It would be nice if you had 8 guys back or whatever, but that's just not the way it is anymore. You mentioned the starters in the Big 12. How much is this kind of a different challenge for you, and you take it head on and you take it with, hey, we got to do this, let's go?
Yeah, I tell you, it's people in coaching, just like in every profession, you have ups and downs. But one thing I love about coaching, things are always different. Offenses evolve, defenses evolve. And even though it's the same game, things are always different within it. And now college basketball, who can adjust to the portal, name, image, and likeness, putting together rosters and teams that can be successful. It's definitely a different challenge, and one that is exciting. At the same time, I know that there's always frustrations in good and bad in every job you have. We tend to just look at the positive. We're really blessed to have an opportunity with 14 new players to prepare champions for life when normally you'd only have 3 or 4.
You know, you think that the year you won the national title with so many players, and there were transfers, and all of them were fantastic. But are those days over when you had a chance to have and I know the older roster is still the thing, but a chance to marinate with them long enough, not just a one-year shot?
Yeah, this thing's all evolving. I would think as we get into multiple year contracts, if there's ever collective bargaining, I mean, as things change in the next couple of years, I think it will stable out more, and because everyone realizes there are advantages to that. And what I mean first and foremost is a young man chooses college to get a degree, and if you go to 4 schools in 4 years, that's probably not going to happen. And at the end of the day, most people aren't in the NBA. So how are we preparing our young people? And that's why you're a college coach. So there will be rules and incentives to make sure that happens. It'll just take a couple years to figure and sort all this out, I believe.
Without saying a specific player's name, but have you ever had a player during this last 2 to 3 years come up to you and go, man, coach, this is hard for us too, even though a lot of things have been pro player, the movement, the NIL, whatever, but do they at times get a little bit like sideways with it themselves or not?
I think they're more, this is hard when it's practice time than anything else.
Yeah.
So that's when they complain it's hard. But as far as 18 to 22-year-olds, for the most part, are really resilient, excited about life, and the ups and downs, the pressures of social media, the pressures to win, the pressures from their inner circle and their friend group. I mean, those are the pressures they deal with more that are hard than anything else. And sports teaches you such great lessons. And a part of that is overcoming, waiting your time, persevering, being a great teammate. I mean, most people don't enter the business world as the CEO. They work their way up, and that's where going through hard times, persevering, and that's why the rules will change at some point. Just how quick do we get to it to where there are incentives or reasons people have to stay.
All right, last thing, and I know you got to go and enjoy the exhibition. It'll be fun to watch tomorrow afternoon. Is what, at least at the beginning, based on what you've seen, the experiences overseas or inside your own practice gym, what do you think is a part of this team that you feel really good about? I know you feel good about all of it, but as it progresses, what do you think early on people might go, man, this is the strength of your team?
Definitely the size and athleticism at the wing spot. Everybody's a point guard now, but our point guards are bigger. So we have a lot of size between 6'5" and 6'8", 6'9", that's athletic and can really do some exciting things. So everybody loves the Sports Center dunks, and we definitely have several players that can keep their attention. And I mean, Tunde won the McDonald's Slam Dunk Contest, and normally if you get a high school player that wins the McDonald's Slam Dunk Contest, they're by far and away your best dunker. And we have several guys that can compete with them, which is impressive.
You excited with just the fact you're going to play somebody else?
Definitely excited. As you just like before a final exam, you get stressed out. Do I have everything in? And am I prepared? Meaning, do we have everything? Do our players know how to run out? Do they know where to sit? Do they know what we're doing starting line? Like, that's the stuff you're worried about right now.
Well, hey, buddy, it's good to hear your voice. Can't wait to see you. 4 o'clock tomorrow, Foster Pavilion, Baylor and Grand Canyon. Scott and Bryce Drew both match up. Family affair. This is 365 Sports.
Established in 2007 and independently owned, Alliance Bank Central Texas is committed to helping families and businesses meet their financial goals. From their tellers to their board of directors, they know the importance of superior service and competitive products. Customers have confidence knowing that their financial needs are in good hands. It's your bank, Alliance Bank Central Texas, with 2 Waco locations, 4721 Bosque Boulevard and 191 Archway Drive on Highway 84, and at alliancebanktexas.com. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Pizza, burgers, and Bears football. There's no place around Waco that serves them all other than Bubba's 33. Come show your green and gold and enjoy some of Waco's best food and beverages while watching your favorite team, the Bears. When real Bears fans get hungry, Bubba's 33 is the #1 spot for ice-cold drinks, hand-stretched, stone-baked pizzas, and bacon-infused burgers. Join us for indoor or patio dining. Bubba's 33, Waco's restaurant and proud supporter of Baylor Bears football. Sick 'em, Bears.
Have you heard of the new IRA? The new IRA Insurance Retirement Advantage is the solution for high-income individuals and business owners who want to grow and protect their wealth without locking up capital or taking unnecessary risks. The new IRA Insurance Retirement Advantage is an option you need to know more about and is only available exclusively from North Star Funding Partners at northstarfundingpartners.com.
Ready to take your business to the next level? Carrion Solutions has got you covered. We deliver world-class IT consulting, including Quest On Demand and Migration Manager, M365 and Exchange migrations, Active Directory assessments, security hardening, and Windows Server upgrades. Our experts specialize in consulting, monitoring, support, and managed IT services. We promise vision, professionalism, and unbeatable value. Satisfaction guaranteed. If you're not happy, we make it right. Remember the name Carrion Solutions. For more info, email sales@carrionsolutions.com or visit carrionsolutions.com. That's CARRION solutions.com. Carrion Solutions, IT success guaranteed.
This is Richard Carr, and it's hard to believe, but 2025 marks our 26th year in the car business. I want to thank you for your support over the last 26 years. As a locally owned business, our customers in Central Texas community are also friends and neighbors. If you haven't been by lately, I invite you to come in and experience our amazing lineup of Buick, GMC, and Cadillac vehicles. Our goal is to make you feel like more than just a customer, but as a valued neighbor. Let us show you why we are people you can count on at Richard Carr, Buick, GMC, Cadillac.
Remember when you had a guy, someone who could fix anything? They're still out there at Batteries Plus. With their quick solutions and expert advice on batteries, key fobs, and phone repair, Batteries Plus will have you in and out and on your way in no time. Batteries Plus, the experts in charge.
Welcome back. 365 Sports. Paul Catalina and Craig Smoak, and awaiting Mickey Spagnola, DallasCowboys.com. Craig, there were a ton of, like you talked about it off the radar. Last night was a fantastic sports watching night. Eagles and Giants. Cam Scattaboo, who I am just thrilled that the rest of the world outside of the Big 12 and college football world knows about now, because I'm a huge Cam Scattaboo fan. Kills me that he plays for the Giants. It kills me, but that was fun to watch last night, him really coming to his own. And Jackson Dart played great. So the Giants, for the first time, maybe have some good vibes around them.
No, it certainly seems that way. And, yeah, great that the rest of the country who wasn't already filled in on Cam Scattaboo is getting filled in, although I think a good portion of college football fans have known about him from Sac State to the Pac-12 to the Big 12. And then I think a lot of people got their taste of him in that Big 12 championship game against or was it playoff game against Texas. Yeah, I was thinking Big 12, the playoff game against Texas when he and the Big 12 championship game when they crushed Iowa State as well. But really, when I felt like he was trending on Twitter was that Texas game when he was like a one-man army basically, and then they fell short. But at that point, everybody was like, "Who's this freaking Cam Scattaboo guy?" That hadn't already been made aware. And then the Giants go get him in the draft and didn't really know what to expect from there. But I mean, he is, along with Jackson Dart now, one of the new kings of New York, or in the process of the Prince of New York, or one of the princes, him and Jackson Dart, if things trend this way. So yeah, huge game for him last night as the Giants beat the Eagles, and not just beat them, but like beat them badly. And we were cracking yesterday when I was just kind of running down all the Thursday night action of just kind of dismissing this game. Like, well, we'll see if the Eagles really have problems or not. And I guess you could say they have problems because they just got doubled up by the Giants 34-17, for God's sake. So yeah, Philly's sounding the alarm now at 4-2, and the Giants still under 500, but all of a sudden feel like they've hit like the new oil well of talent in the Big Apple. So yeah, Scattaboo and Dart, man, that's a fun combination, and we'll see if they can continue it. But right now, it's one of the cooler stories in the NFL.
It's too bad that Malik Neighbors out for the year with that ACL too, because that's really, I mean, like when you look ahead to the Giants, but yeah, the Eagles, and look, they do this kind of every year, like, or every other year, like they go to the Super Bowl, maybe they win the Super Bowl the year after, they crater, like I guess to just get too fat and happy on on celebrating, but they've won a couple Super Bowls in the last few years. And then after that, they kind of crater. They went to the Super Bowl, and then of course, the year after 2023 was a drastically bad year. Then last year they hired Kellen Moore. Offense picked back up. Kellen Moore took the Saints job, and now they hired a new offensive coordinator. It's not working again. They've been through all this before. AJ Brown, that situation's odd, although they did get him the ball a little bit more. He was very involved in the game, but their run game wasn't good last night. I had to watch them run the tush push 4 times in a row, which kind of sucks in an NFL game.
I am at the point where I'm ready for them to ban that play.
Yeah.
And I am not one that's like, that's unfair or anything. I'm so sick of seeing it.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not even a legitimate reason to ban it. I fully acknowledge that. It's just a personal preference. I'm sick of seeing it, especially when it feels like about the only thing you can do sometimes is do that play. It's like
from the 4-yard line
into the end zone. Yeah. 4 straight plays. So I'm sick of that. I think there's a good chance that occurs this offseason after how close the vote was a year ago and then what subsequently has happened this season. But we'll see on that. I don't know. But, the Giants are a great story. Scattaboo nearly 100 yards. Just fell short of getting his first 100-yard game, but 3 TDs, a new career high for him. And he's off to the races. And Jackson Dart looks like he's certainly going to be a guy who is I hesitate to get too far down the road because guys have like 1 or 2 good games and then we start crowning them. And then it's like the JJ McCarthy thing, right? Where has a comeback and then he's hurt like 2 weeks later or not playing well and then gets hurt. But if I'm a Giants fan, I'm beaming today with the thought of those 2 guys and then a Malik Neighbors coming back and whatever else you can put together eventually.
Yeah, they look like they might have a real future. Now, I don't, Garrett, we're not going to have Mickey. Okay, no. So Craig, Cubs rolled last night. That's going to be a game 5 tomorrow. And then Detroit and Seattle game 5 tonight. But Dodgers beat the Phillies 2-1 last night in 11 innings, and I've never felt worse for a human being than I did for Orion Kerkering last night when he forgot that there were 2 outs already and made that throwing error to end the game.
Yeah, big old mistake by Orion Kerkering, as you said, and an error to end the season is a hell of a way to have to go back home for the next few months and get ready for 2026. So he was obviously bummed. I think his quote after the game was something effing sucks right. I guess some effing sucks right now was what he had to say. So yeah, he was shown quite a bit, and can only imagine what his night was like. And then just waking up again this morning and being like, oh, that really happened. That really happened. So yeah, bases loaded, 2 outs. Andy Page's hit, and he can't get the ball clean and tries to go grab it from around the pitcher's mound. And then you think he's going to go throw to first, and he tries to throw home, tries being the key word, and it goes wide, and the run scores, and the rest ends up being history for him. So It was a really bad mental blip at the wrong time. And you just hope for his sake that he's able to play his way out of that eventually. But it's going to be a long off season, dude, especially being in Philly of all places. Like that's I'm sure that's probably also like, you're going to get that segment of fans who aren't going to give you the benefit of the doubt or pat on the back or whatever. And that's fine. That's what you sign up for, make all this money and play this game as an adult for this much money. But still, there has to be part that goes, and I'm in Philly too. Like they're going to be unmerciful about this.
If I'm Orion Kerkering, I'm spending my whole off season at
Florida or somewhere.
I think they're in Clearwater or something, like wherever the Phillies are. I'm just going to work out at the spring training facility. I don't need to be in Philly for any reason. I'm just going to take a break and readjust. And look, Philly, like this was kind of an all-in year for them, and it didn't work out. So the Dodgers,
with Bryce Harper and
Kyle
Schwarber and they're not expecting to go out in this round, the divisional round of the playoffs at all. That's not what they signed up for.
No, so we'll see how they respond to the offseason and what they do. But the Dodgers, look, Roki Sasaki, they signed him this year to come in. He was the hot Japanese prospect. He comes in, he's not good at all, and then he they shut him down. He's on the DL and reworks it. And now he's the closer in the playoffs, and he's dominant, just dominant. And so it's one more thing. They have a Yamamoto, who wasn't really good early on, is now dominant. They're just so loaded, and I just don't see a way out of seeing the Dodgers in the World Series again.
Yeah, I haven't really thought too much about what lies ahead, but there's a really strong chance that's the case. He's named off like the Japanese all-star team, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they practically have half of it on their roster right now. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I bet they're getting a nice piece of merch money from overseas with their international guys, but. Yeah, he looks, sometimes you just need a little tweak, right? Maybe it's moving a time slot. Maybe it's moving your office to a different location. Maybe it's getting a new parking. Like sometimes we just need a little bit of a change. And in his case, for Roki Sasaki, a change did him good. And future looks bright there. And, the immediate future for the Dodgers looks like they're going to be still playing some baseball into late October, which if you aren't bothered by that, then hey, no worries. If you're a Dodgers fan, great. But if you're somebody who's got Dodgers fatigue, then I've got bad news for you. I don't think you're going to get rid of that anytime soon.
Yeah, they already have the best baseball player I've ever seen in my life on their team. And then,
I feel pretty confident saying that at this point already about Ohtani. And I'm not somebody who's really for the hyperbole at all. I'm still somebody who Michael Jordan's the greatest of all time to me. And then in football, that's changed because it was Montana or Jim Brown or whatever. Like that's a more nuanced conversation. Like, what do you appreciate more? But now then you've had Tom Brady hit the scene, and that changes everything because now when Super Bowls were king, okay, he's king then. But then you also know there might be a guy in Kansas City who ends up even better than that guy. We'll see. But in the baseball conversation, it's always Babe Ruth, the first name off people's tongues. And there's been various others over the years that have contended for that spot, but I would not be surprised at all in the next few years if we're just like, Shinjiro Ohtani is the best baseball player that ever lived. I mean, that's a real possibility if you don't already believe that.
I think Ohtani's just the best. I mean,
to do all that he does at such a high level.
There's no hole in his first of all, he plays both ways. Like, I guess you could say he doesn't play in the field when he's not pitching, but it's not like he's terrible with the glove. He's the best power hitter in the league. He's one of the best base stealers.
He's a leadoff hitter.
He's a leadoff, all these things. Like, he throws 100 miles an hour.
He can run the bases.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's insane. Like, he's an 8-tool player. It's insane. When we come back, Josh Neighbors, College Countdown. Then the top 5 in the carnival. This is 365 Sports.
Automatic Chef is your local vending, office coffee, and micro market provider, delivering outstanding service to break rooms all over Central Texas for over 50 years. Automatic Chef brings the best products to your location at the best prices. With hundreds of choices in fresh food, coffee, snacks, and drinks, let Automatic Chef tailor a break room solution to your needs. Make break time great again with Automatic Chef. Automatic Chef Canteen, 6900 Imperial Drive in Waco, or online at automaticchef.com.
Ideal MRI is a small family business right here in Central Texas. We're open to support you while lowering the cost of healthcare bills. When you need an MRI, ask your doctor for an Ideal MRI. Visit us at idealmri.com or call us at 833-IDEAL-MRI.
Baylor Scott & White Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physicians for Baylor Athletics, diagnosing and treating all sports-related injuries, including concussions. These specialists also provide orthopedic services for athletes and non-athletes alike, whether it's knee or shoulder pain, a wrist injury, orthopedic spine care, and even an arthritis and total joint clinic. Trust the doctors Baylor Athletics trust. Baylor Scott & White Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics wants to get you back in the game.
There are 26 letters in the alphabet, over 600,000 words in the dictionary, and just 3 of them said together can change everything. Let's order pizza. Those 3 words lead to dough made from scratch and 3 fresh signature cheeses that blanket golden crust in a heavenly melt on Marco's Pizza that'll blow your mind. So visit Marcos.com to order and stop by Marco's Pizza in Belmead, China Spring, Woodway, and in Robinson. Marco's. Pizza lovers get it.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
No car payments for 90 days when you bring your auto loan home to Genco. Get 4.79% for 48 months and make no payments until 2026. Plus, get entered to win 3 months of no car payments. Bring your auto loan home to Genco. Lower your interest rate, save money, and no payments until 2026. Special is subject to credit approval and membership eligibility. Visit GencoFCU.org. Member NCUA.
Want to send a message to the show? Jump in the Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue chat room.
Josh Neighbors, College Countdown with us on 365 Sports. Josh, I am going to go to Dallas tomorrow. I wasn't scheduled to, but if John Mateer plays in this game and Oklahoma wins, I will be asking for a sample of his blood so that we can take it to science and figure out how his bones heal faster than everyone else's. It is wild.
Didn't the doctor go to the message boards, which we love, and say that was this the time frame that he gave, or is it beyond that?
He said it was when he went and said those things, and then like the message boards just started treating him as a hero.
Right.
Like the surgery went really well, and he could be on the shorter end of the timeline, which would be like 3 to 4 weeks. So he's 17 days or 18 days now out of surgery. So that's pretty
he's
impressive.
21. Yeah, he is 21. Yeah, it's like, but I guess also, I mean, I don't know, it could be genetics, but like pro athletes usually have a pretty good job, a pretty good chance coming back early sometimes, just because like they've got so much access to good medicine. And did you, by the way, the best part about this was Pete Thamel last night, the all-time no update. He's like, Jackson, or he said, Mateer is on track to try and play. He might not play. He is listed as questionable. Nothing told me anything about anything in that.
Yeah,
it's like,
didn't change anything until
he's hurt. We know he's going to give it a go. We know he might not play. We also know. Like, then, what in the world?
Then an hour later, they released the injury report, and he's probable. So it's like it's like it's mind blowing.
We all know he's playing. Like it's
he's playing. It's like now this is like I think maybe like because what happens a lot of times they'll leak news to someone like Thamel.
Yeah.
Thamel will put that person will put it out, and then they're gonna kind of gauge, what the thing is, and then Thamel put that out, and they're like, well, the way he put that
ridiculous.
I think
Also, just on this, do you think John Mateer's like great?
I
think he's like. I think he's good. I don't know if he's like. Yeah, I think John Mateer might be the Oklahoma of quarterbacks. Like Oklahoma's beaten Auburn, who's not good, and Michigan, who I think is like decent, like pretty good. But like I don't, and I know nobody's barnstorming amazing this year, but like John Mateer doesn't blow me away. Oklahoma's good; they don't blow me away totally. And I feel like he is the quarterback version of his team, and vice versa. But like they're really good, and I guess tomorrow they have a chance to prove that they're great. Because say what you want about Texas, 3-2, but they've got like top level talent. They're just not playing like it, but that would be really impressive, especially to do that. But I just don't know if he's great. I think he might be good, and he can't be great.
I'm a big John Mateer fan. I liked him last year at Wazoo, and I think that it's going to be one of those things that winds up looking amazing if it does, and not it's going to be like, oh crap, did we really risk him for this one game? And here's the other thing, and I'm not sure Oklahoma realizes this or their fans realize this. And look, having your lead assassin back to maybe put Texas in the gray for the year is a great thing.
Cool.
But it's a different era now. Texas has already lost a couple of games. Their season is done if they lose to Oklahoma. Oklahoma can lose this game, get John Mateer back completely healthy, lose one more, and still be potentially in the SEC title game.
So, Paul, as people that pay like a really close attention to college football, like, and I'm in SEC country, and obviously, I was in Big 12 country for a while, but the SEC is very NFL. Like, it's really, and like the thing about it is like there are like everybody's good. So it's going to be hard to be perfect. There are going to be some head scratching results from time to time, but like good teams, whenever they gotta have it in the NFL, they just win. You know what I mean? Like it's like the Ravens are 0-2. Oh my god! And it's like by the I believe Christmas last year they were in front in the division.
Yeah.
Right. They won the division that with a week or so left. It's like that kind of to me is what we're looking at here. So like tomorrow, I fully expect Texas to bounce back, just because they don't have a Power Five win yet, and I think at 3 losses, I think they could make it. But like this is one of those where it's going to be a good hit list in the resume. So like, you need to start actually building a resume this far into the year, and also I think like Texas is one of those teams where like form matters. Like if they're 9-3, it's like they beat the hell out of A&M or they look really impressive. It's like not only are they're borderline, but they look like a top 12 team, and so they'll get in. And I'll be honest, SEC, whatever. I actually enjoy the NFLification of the SEC. Like it is. I look down the SEC slate tomorrow, and there are like 5 really compelling games. And like Auburn, like it's a great rivalry hosting Georgia. LSU, South Carolina. Man, Lenore Sellers couldn't run against Missouri and ripped them in half just from the pocket, and like it was a compelling, fun game. And so I kind of like the SEC of it. The Big Ten's not like that, right? Like you can't survive bad losses in the Big Ten and not be in the Big Ten title game. In the SEC, you can survive it. But yeah, like I think this is exciting tomorrow because like Texas is like a desperate NFL team, and I can't wait to see what it looks like.
Well, and look, I think Texas losing last week, and then like Penn State losing 2 in a row, Clemson being where they are, Texas has the opportunity to stave off what happened to those other 2 right now.
Right.
They have the opportunity. The other 2 are done. They're cooked. Like Penn State can win the rest of them, and they're not going to get the benefit of the doubt because of the UCLA loss. They're just not. And to that end, I don't think they will win the rest of them. I think that there's something going on there. But I agree with you on the way that, and I think that the Big 12 was already kind of like that.
It was already like that. Yeah,
it was already like that.
But they didn't have the margin for error SEC schools have when it comes to the playoff now, right?
Exactly. But like the Big 12 is just like, it's just such a ping pong match of how close you are to each other. Now, one more SEC game that I know that you are heavily invested in as a Mizzou Tiger. This Alabama game is really interesting to me. At home, Mizzou's played really well. Bo Pribula really fits there. He's been fantastic. Ahmad Hardy is maybe one of the best transfer portal stories ever, and was a 0-star recruit and all these different things. He's kind of the Josh Allen of running backs, all of that. They're getting everything they want out of their skill guys. Their offensive line's good. Their defense has been not dominant, but good. Like they make plays when they need to. Like they're not. You don't have to worry.
They're not as good as they have been the last few. I mean, they don't have the guys up front. I mean, they're good, but like it's kind of an older Missouri team where like the strength is linebacker. Like Trotter, like that, like and that to me, Shane Ray and Kentrell Brothers and Michael Sam, like Nick Bolton, like this is a program that like is usually built at the linebacker, and they've had really good pass rushers come through. I think it's an awesome matchup. I really think it's a fun game.
It's really gonna be a fun game. Ty Simpson's playing well. Jam Miller's back. Like this is one thing where both teams are pretty loaded for bear, and Mizzou could really kind of rewrite their story or start to write the story as people see it if they can get a win. And it's at home. I mean, I picked Alabama in the game because it's hard to pick against what Ty Simpson's doing right now. But if Mizzou comes out and wins this thing, it should shock 0 people.
Yeah, Ty Simpson had a throw last week the Florida State game, he was bad. Like he was really just behind. And it looked really difficult for their offense. And last week, how that laboring that Alabama's offense had, that was Vanderbilt's defense. It actually, I thought their defense looked really, really good, but they just couldn't get off the field. And Simpson had a throw where he ran to the left, stopped his feet, and just popped it. And it was he's got it now. Like the guy is in command. I think there's kind of a few things working here. Bama's on a really difficult run, and they had to work last week for that Vanderbilt win too. Vanderbilt did test them; like they were up and ready for that game. And I think really Pavia is what cost them because he was just bad in the red zone. But they played Georgia tough. Vanderbilt, I mean that was a tough game. They've got Tennessee next week. Like they're in the middle of a tough run here, and either they could just be like the surging force, or like there could be some stumble along the way. Like if they lost a close game tomorrow, I don't know how different we'd feel about Alabama, right? Because like maybe next week against Tennessee, third Saturday in October, we assess them differently. But this is a difficult run, and I have a tough time seeing them come out unscathed. And Missouri's obviously is had time to prepare for it, and they have not had no really difficult contests. Like they don't play it, and Kansas pressed them a little bit, but like the numbers in that game say Missouri dominated. And so I think Missouri's going to win, not because I'm a Mizzou Tiger, but because I just think it's like one of those spot games. It's like, oh, this team's playing a bunch of hard games in a row, and this team really needs it off of bye, and it's coming off a bye, and it's a chance to make a statement, and they're at home. It kind of favors that team, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like those are these things. Like I promise you that Kalen DeBoer and his coaching staff are like, could we have just gotten another week before we played a team like this?
Yeah.
Because it's not there's
By the
nothing
way, where are his haters now? I mean, everybody's that was so stupid. I mean,
well, okay. First of all, it's because we don't know as a college viewing public how to judge season to season anymore. So Kalen DeBoer is done because a team that was 2-10 a year ago lost to them. But okay, the NFLification of everything, because this is how it's going. Well, in the NFL, look, the Eagles lost last night. The Giants got rolled by the Giants.
Yeah.
And they're the defending Super Bowl champs. They're kind of in a bad way right now. But 2 years ago, remember they had won the Super Bowl.
They wanted to fire Sirianni last year.
Yeah. They wanted to fire Sirianni part of the way through the year because he closed out 2023 bad. Like they went on this losing streak. They didn't start out like super hot last year. And then all of a sudden, well, yeah, they've lost their offensive coordinator. The one he hired maybe isn't the best one, which is the same exact thing that happened after they won the first time.
Yeah.
So like those coordinators leave and then like or they went the first. So like they do all that. They go to the Super Bowl and everybody's freaking out about the Eagles. Well, look, maybe the Eagles don't repeat this year and they don't get very far in the playoffs, or they don't, do that. But guess what? They're a good organization. They're a good organization.
Yeah.
They'll figure it out in a year. Well, I'm not trying to toot Florida State's horn here, but they were 13-0. Every possible thing that could have went wrong. And they have a good organization with Mike Norvell. And while they're not completely back, like they're backer than they would have been in any normal college.
They brought an old quarterback and an old coach who knows what he's doing, Gus Malzahn, and they've got good access to talent.
So Kalen DeBoer's not done. He just lost to a team that was ready to go, and things can change that much. And so we don't, as a viewing public, we don't get it, right? We don't get it the same way, because it used to be like, oh, we lost a team that was 2-10 last year. Well, let's see what that team is at the end of this year before we say that's a terrible loss.
Well,
or what they are halfway through the season,
I think and that's why I love talking to you, Paul, is we always tackle this big picture stuff well, but I think what people have to understand is that like college football fans for decades have been reacting to games because we used to have a situation where they voted on the national champion, right? They used to, and then they had two teams that made a championship game, and then four, and even that's such a small number that get to compete for it. So every game has been so paramount, and they only play 12 of them. So everybody's just like, I throw myself off the bridge because the team lost? It's like, no, just it's like, should we stone Arch Manning in public? And I'm like, maybe not, because he still like, I wouldn't be shocked if he's playing better and good by the end of the year. Well, like you just got to give time.
If their offensive line starts playing better, he'll be
those
fine.
Guys. Yeah, those guys need to be. I need to have a conversation with them.
Yeah, exactly. So
good Lord,
it's weird. And what gets me is that a lot of this narrative comes from the people who should know this of college football. Like
I think they do. I think we set the narrative knowing this was going to happen, just so we could be like, what a bust.
Yeah, but they also love to like they know like they shouldn't. They like to chase the headline and not the actual story. Right. The headline is always like, like ridiculous. And then you read the story and you're like, well, I guess it's part of it. Like,
well,
that's why
Manning said this himself. He's like, I haven't played any games.
Yeah.
It's like, and the thing is, he started 5 games. 5. Yeah. And the thing about this is what's so frustrating is I have a lot of friends in my life who like, that kid sucks. And I'm like, he's playing poorly, but I'm like, Sark has not done him any favors because I don't think he's using his skill very well. The offensive line has not done him or Quintravion Meister any favors at all in big moments. And like, yeah, Texas is actually a pretty decently well built team, but like they're just not playing well. And that, like, I think we have to understand that as opposed to, and look, I know we saw him in Warby Parker commercials to start off the year in the first game. That is a bit much. And look, he deserves some credit because he's getting paid pretty high. That's fine. But like, I think he'd be the first person to tell you, he's like, yeah, I'm not playing great right now. Yeah. Like, I think he's the first person to tell you. And here's the thing, he might get better. We watched it happen to a million quarterbacks.
Yeah.
All the time.
We also happened to Ty Simpson in a week. A week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, it's like, I remember when Kansas State kept trying to play Will Howard. And it didn't work.
Yeah.
And then when it played, and I've told you this a million times, but like when it went well, everybody to a man, coaches, players, him, it slowed down for me. And guess what? He just got older. That's all it was. He sucked a lot and got older. It's like, oh, that's how not to do it. I'm learning how to do it. Yeah. And that just happens. It happens at different rates for different guys. For Ty Simpson, happened in a couple weeks. For Arch Manning, might take longer.
Yeah, it's crazy, but we chase the headline and not the story. Like,
yes, I 100% agree.
Yeah, and I blame tickers on the bottom of screens.
Did you read the New York Times story / Athletic, the one they put out this week?
Yeah,
like the point was pretty like solid. It's like this is the first guy who's been treated he's almost treated like Zion, but he's in college. So he hadn't actually done anything. Like even Zion Williamson had those amazing dunk mixtapes, right? Yeah. Arch had, they're like, oh, look at these, little toddlers he's playing against in 2A football. And the thing is, it's like, yeah, he's not playing well. And he was treated like a massive commodity before, but like to call it a bust, an out and out bust is ridiculous to imply that. And it was just asking the question. I think the article came to the conclusion that, no, not yet. He's just not playing well. But like, it's not over for him. We should stop acting like it is.
Yeah. Also the fact that he is now in his 3rd year at Texas and is now just starting also tells you in this, like, look, we watched Dylan Gabriel get kind of pushed out at Oklahoma for Jackson Arnold, right? They could have pushed Quinn out. They could have said, hey, we all know in this building it's time for Arch Manning. And so as much as we love you, like, go take $5 million and go to Notre Dame or whatever you're going to do, like go to that open spot, like go cash in on your success that you've had here. But we really want to start Arch, and it's not going to be you. You can stay if you want, but Arch is going to be the starter. They could have done that. They could have very well done that, and they didn't. And they didn't for a reason, because they knew, like you just said, he was playing 2A football, and they wanted to give him time to adjust to the fact that, like, there is a jump from 2A football to freaking Texas.
And they put him in a Georgia game last year, I think, just to give Georgia another different look, and it went terribly. Right? They went terribly. And, the flip side of this, Trinidad Chambliss played in D2.
Yeah.
And he shows up. And they put him in the game, and guess what? It's going great because the guy he's lost. He's won a national championship. He's old, and he's like, I know what winning football for me looks like, and I know what I need to do. And like just kind of understanding the assignment, like that takes time. And just there's numerous examples of it. Like he might not end up being good, but I would not be surprised at all if he ends up being really good.
Oh yeah. Let's not put out the fire before there's a fire, right?
Like, transfer to UTEP? No.
Yeah, exactly. Josh Neighbors, College Countdown. Josh, have a good one tonight. We'll see you next week.
MIZ.
There we go. Josh Neighbors, College Countdown.
Just got my Colgate Advanced LED Whitening Treatment in the mail, and I am very excited to have dramatically whiter teeth in just 10 days. There's a full 10-day supply, and it looks easy to apply. Order yours today at shop.colgate.com.
The dress collar polo. The only polo with a spread collar. Gives you the look of a dress shirt, but with the comfort of a polo shirt. Collars and Company.
I'm here to work out with you.
We did not put this little cookie cutter program together.
I'm in there with you, sweating, yelling, doing the damn thing.
Transform by Core Home Fitness.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. We deliver premier protection at affordable prices and express shipping. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
At Dreamy, we believe that life can be upgraded in comfort, convenience, and joy.
Dude, check out this robe. This is the dude robe. It's perfect for after the shower, gym, or even the beach. This thing is awesome. It also has this super premium towel lining to dry you off right away. Dude, what are you waiting for? Get yourself a dude robe today.
This is Paul Catalina's Top 5.
Welcome into Paul Catalina's Top 5, brought to you by Flag and Anthem. Use our promo code at flagandanthem.com, 365 Sports for a discount at checkout. Let's talk about the top 5 Texas OU moments of the 21st century. I got to tell you, this top 5 I've been working on all week. I was going to do a top 15, a top 20. Like, I couldn't figure out how to do it, and it was just because there's so much stuff you can leave out. This is truly, in my opinion, the most interesting rivalry in college football, in that there are no long streaks in it, really, and you can't predict it year in and year out. Give me any other rivalry. Honestly, the game, Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State, you name it, the Egg Bowl, the Iron Bowl, most of the years it's kind of predictable. Now, weird things happen in rivalry games, but this is the game that elevates the rivalry experience to its essence. If you don't like either of these teams, that's fine. You should still, as a college football fan, tune in tomorrow at 2:30 Central Time and watch this game, because weird stuff will happen. I promise you. We've already talked about John Mateer all day long and what that could be like. So let's get started. Number 5, Caleb Williams and Kennedy Brooks, the comeback in 2021. We'll get to 2001 in a minute. 2021, Caleb Williams, before he scampered off with Lincoln Riley to USC, enters the game and just transforms into the Incredible Hulk and dominates Texas. So much so that they came back down 31-7 to win the game at the buzzer on this touchdown by Kennedy Brooks from Mansfield, Texas. An absolute dagger in front of a bunch of his friends and family and a bunch of Texas fans who could not believe what they were seeing in that moment. And not a great day for Tom Herman. Number 4, Roy Williams Superman in 2001. When I think of this game, this is the play that I think of. And I think it's most people my age and maybe Garrett's age, this is the first thing that comes to mind. This kind of showed you the athleticism that a guy who Bill Parcells described as a biscuit short of a linebacker had when he was at Oklahoma. Really, really amazing. Chris Sims will never live this down in his whole life, and he knows it. He's a good sport about it. I've talked to him about it. Smokey, we've interviewed him. He will never live it down, but this was an absolute gut punch right here, because this happened right in the end zone. So it was not a great one. Number 3, Charlie Strong somehow pulls it off in 2015. This was a bad Texas team in 2015. They were not good. Charlie Strong had already kind of run afoul of all the Texas fans. He hadn't been in the job too long. It just wasn't working out. They didn't make the right hire. They didn't make a lot of great decisions. The program, this was, when you think about the decade of Texas incompetence that they had, between the dismissal of Mac Brown, well, actually the Colt McCoy getting injured in the national championship game until Steve Sarkisian took over a couple years ago. This is the era, the Charlie Strong era, that I really think of that stands out. But in what this game can be, a carnival of weirdness, which there's an actual carnival outside, this game got weird. Texas won the game, and Charlie Strong's wearing this gold cowboy hat and giving this, winking the gun all the way through. And congratulations to Charlie Strong. This is a big moment for him in his career. Number 2, the McCoy-Bradford showdown in 2008, 45-35 Texas. This one was an all-out brawl between two elite quarterbacks, Sam Bradford, who'd go on to win the Heisman, and Colt McCoy, who when he left Texas was the all-time winningest quarterback in the history of college football. Didn't have that national championship on his own that he wanted so badly, but this was one of those great games that was back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and ultimately a Jordan Shipley 96-yard kick return made a huge difference in the game, but this was the peak of Colt McCoy's career, this Red River game in 2008. And number 1 in 2020, when we were all locked in our homes, Spencer Rattler helped pull off a gigantic comeback in 4 OTs as Texas wins 53-45. This was ridiculous. We were all like, look, you can see in the background of that picture, because it was 2020, not a lot of people at that game. The least attended Red River game probably ever. But it was one of the most entertaining, and since we were all trapped inside watching it, they delivered. Spencer Rattler, his peak moment as Oklahoma quarterback is just a couple of years later, not even a couple, 1 year later, in this very same game, his career as the starter at Oklahoma would end because of Caleb Williams and his ineffectiveness. So Spencer Rattler, now the starter in New Orleans, but this was his crowning moment as an Oklahoma Sooner. That's going to do it for the top 5. Speaking of carnivals, we have our own state fair of Andrew Villade stuff right now. All right. Thank you, me. Craig.
Really get a smoother transition for that, I think, at this point. Maybe I put that on the to-do list.
Yeah, we probably need like a stinger coming out of that.
A little something.
Yeah, something. But all right.
Doesn't help when you go like, oh, hey, look at me here. But not that nobody would notice the half a second where you've teleported either. So, yeah.
I mean, now I'm doing them over here because over here is a mess. So it's all, I mean, like we can make it a little bit smoother, I guess, because I'm doing it in this spot. Garrett thinks it's better.
I like it better.
He likes it better. So he's the producer. He tells me where to go and how he wants me to do it. So
it's his job. Yeah,
it is. That's what I do. I'm nothing if not a rule follower. Okay. And we spin the wheel. Your death row meal.
Okay. So what are the parameters? Because I've actually seen some states don't even do death row meals now.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
I don't know that they all did to begin with, but I do know that some have actually pulled back on that. But is it limitless? Is it you got to have like a couple of different things? You know what I'm saying? So
I think you get like an appetizer, a drink. Let's go appetizer, drink, like a main course and a dessert.
And a side, and then like a side.
Yeah, let's keep it like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, limiting it. Gosh, there's so many good choices, right? But I think I would, to make me happy and just go classic, I would need like a good double cheeseburger, like a greasy double cheeseburger, and some good crisp French fries, and like a side salad. I love salad. I love salad. So a nice little garden salad with ranch and something chocolate. Like if I'm just going with like the go-to, then I'm going like some Bluebell Dutch chocolate ice cream, and like a Diet Coke. I think I'd be happy with that. And I know that's probably so simplistic, but like that's me though. So I would die a happy man with that meal.
Yeah. I really hope that when I'm on death row, it's in Louisiana.
Well, it means you're probably innocent, maybe. Who knows?
Who knows? No, mine would be. I mean, if I
he's a lobster chuncher train with
I do like, you know what? Like I could go with like the whole my favorite meals at the restaurants there.
That's what I mean, because I could do like pasta and fried chicken and like there's so many things.
Yeah. But I really would just want and look, I love sandwiches. Like I really love sandwiches. Like
I just said burgers.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, same universe.
Yeah, give me a really great elite sandwich. Mm-hmm. Maybe an Italian, maybe I don't know. Like there's a lot of them. Like it honestly, it's like that would have to be what it was. Some really good fresh cut fries, like nice and fresh cut. Those maybe some chicken wings as an appetizer because I love wings.
Yeah, if you're gonna throw an appetizer, then I'm probably doing some chicken wings or something like that.
Really
potato skins or something.
Yeah, some really good wings, and then my favorite like dessert has always been Boston cream pie, but like I don't really like. I would want like a nice banana pudding, like a nice, really good banana pudding.
Nanner pudding.
Yeah, like a good old nanner pudding. I mean, like trying to ask me to pick one dessert before I die. I mean, look. I mean, desserts are what's going to kill me.
Hey,
so
man.
it's, but yeah. So I definitely that's a tough one. That's a tough one. One of the many reasons I'm against the death penalty because I don't want to have to make this choice.
Well, some people don't have the choice anymore. Like I said, apparently in some states, I came across that a couple months ago actually because I think I was asked a question similar to this about or I saw maybe on TV and I was like, what would mine be? And I had to sit there and think about it. And I was like, well, what are the rules? And I looked it up to see if there were actually any rules. And I think that there are kind of loose rules for it, but yeah, they give me a cheeseburger and fries and like a little bit of greenery. More like I don't know. I just grew up loving like garden salads with ranch dressing. So
I think about the Green Mile. He wanted all the stuff that Tom Hanks's wife made.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. So I think a lot of it's just what I grew up eating and the stuff I liked eating is how I'd want to go out.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder what ridiculous crime I committed to wind up there. So, all right, trivia questions. This NFL season saw the first introduction of instant replay, which was later removed and then brought back in 1989 or 1999. Sorry. I think it's 1986 because I remember instant replay when I was younger.
Well, this is too young for me. I was not knowing what anything was going on in 1986. I was around, but I just didn't know anything that was going on really. So really 80 or 92 is the only thing. And I don't remember that at that point. I was still relatively young. So yeah, I'll go with 1986. I don't know.
I'm going to go with 86.
Bang.
Boom. Yeah. The NFL first adopted limited instant replay in 86 with reviews handled by officials in a booth. The first game with replay was Cleveland versus Chicago. Week 1, the system was removed after 1991 due to slowdowns and missed calls. Returned in 99 with the coach's challenge and has never been unused since. Yeah.
Can you imagine how many meetings that would last 30 minutes if Big 12 officials had been around in 1988 with instant replay or 86? I mean, the technology we have and there's still issues with it. You can only imagine what it would have been like 40 years ago at this point. Yeah, 40 years ago. So, the more you know. I did not know that exact information.
I do like what the ACC has done. If you watch the ACC games where you can
Big
listen
12's
to
done
it.
that now too, I believe. And so I like the transparency to at least know what they're talking about while they're making a call and kind of know what the discussion is rather than like just this complete unknown of how do they come to that conclusion. And so, to hear them going, oh, that looks like it touched the ground. Yeah, it did touch the ground. All right, we're going with it touched the ground. Cool, it touched the ground. And I like that. I do enjoy having that access, and I don't think it slows the game down any further. It fills that time. It's otherwise us just standing at an official with headsets on, just listening to whoever's talking. Now we can hear him talking, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah. The other thing about it is I think eventually they'll speed it up. I think they could speed it up tremendously by just not telling the ref, not letting him watch on the monitor. I get they want to say see what happened here.
Yeah.
He doesn't really need to see that though. You just need to tell him the call is upheld or the call is over to, or the call is over to whatever it is, the ruling, whatever the terminology is now. And then it's 1st and 10 at the 17-yard line. That's all they need to know,
Yeah. I know. And I think that it will evolve like anything else and be better as it goes along. But I think this is a nice step in the right direction of transparency. And I wish there's a lot of other cases where we could have had that access and seen how the hell did y'all come to that conclusion. And I know there will be a moment like that eventually, but if anything, this just puts even more onus on these guys who should already have every reason to get it right, to really make sure that they get it right if they didn't already, which I mean, again, they already should, but I think it's been a positive.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, the next one. Andrew didn't think we'd get this one.
This major U.S. sports team was the first to feature a sponsor patch on their game jersey. Bruins, Red Sox, 76ers, or Padres. Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay.
I have no way of even guessing other than like saying what I know about Andrew and saying like it might be the hockey team, but even then, like that's all I got here.
I want to say it's Bruins or Sixers, but I'm not sure at all on that. And that's a total, like I said, guess. I'm not sure at all on.
Now, he did tell me earlier that I would find it interesting. So maybe it was the Red Sox and maybe it was in like 1910 or something like that.
Maybe.
So let's go with the Red Sox just by context clues. Okay, now.
Homer pick.
Yeah.
Homer pick
Yeah,
for the
it was
Red
a
Sox
Homer pick,
fans.
yeah.
76ers were the first major U.S. team to have a sponsor patch partner StubHub in 2017-18. Since then, MLB, NHL have adopted. NFL limits them to practice jerseys. Dude, NFL, don't ever cave. Please, God, don't ever cave. Like, I know you probably will because you'll be the last one and you'll get the most for it. And that's probably your plan is to wait until everybody else has done it. And then the real value comes into having the NFL jersey patches. But in some cases, it's okay. In other cases, you just see where there are people like always trying to take it another step farther to get that little extra money.
I just worry that we're headed for Premier League soccer jerseys, or
like WNBA jerseys.
Yeah.
I mean, or a Premier League, or various soccer leagues where you go, okay, that's IMG, but what team is this? Or AEG or whatever the bank is, I think. Or it's Lufthansa Airlines. Okay, who am I watching? Oh, it's Real Madrid. I know that's inaccurate, but I'm just saying, like, that's what it feels like watching is like, who am I watching if you don't know the colors of the team? And even then, if they're wearing alternates, it may not matter. And hell, in the NBA, like, they wear anything but their team colors half the time at this point. So, yeah, I'm really ready to see what LSU cooked up because they're the first off the market line when it comes to having already cut a deal. And it sounds like all they're waiting is for a green light to just go, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
Already have all their sports lined up, already have their sponsor, everything. I'm hoping it's more like the Chime logo on a Mavs jersey, which sometimes, depending on what jersey they use, can stick out, but other times it blends pretty nicely versus the freaking
this StubHub one is not that.
That's okay.
obtrusive,
That's okay. But like when you look at the WNBA jerseys where it's like where the numbers are or it's where the team name should be, or it's multiple places and you're like, who am I watching play today other than the bank that's sponsoring them? Yeah, that's what I don't. And I freaking despise that massive ass patch the Mariners were wearing there for a little while for Nintendo Direct. Like, I mean, there's others that aren't necessarily all that much smaller, but that one they had a couple months ago and I saw it, just this hideous big red block of patch for the Mariners. And when I first saw that, I was just like, this is what people feared when they talked about these logos taking up too much, or these advertisements taking up too much space. So, it'll all be in the execution.
I was just curious to look. And so, a lot of the teams in Japan are named after, like, their name is.
They've had this for forever.
So, like, the Nippon Ham Fighters, for the longest time when I was a kid, I thought, like, what? Why are you fighting ham? Like, it was like, I just, like, expected, like, just a picture of a guy, like, hitting a pig in the face or something like that. But they're the Fighters, and Nippon Ham is the company that owns them.
Yeah.
But if you look at their logo, here's the other thing. Nippon Ham just bought the team name. That, like, the Fighters are the logo. They're not, like, spread all over it. So I do at least respect that. So.
Well, I mean, and that's been around for a really long time. But I looked it up. It was the Nintendo Switch 2 earlier this year. The Mariners took what was already a massive red, and they don't wear red, a massive red rectangle that was on their arm, and doubled it in size to where it is like your entire bicep area, basically. And there's a little exaggeration, but it is just so tacky. It's so tacky and in your face how large that is. And I just know there's some program somewhere that can't wait to do that for some local gas station or something for $100,000 to pay recruits. And I'll keep going back to what I said because that's what will ultimately ring true. The devil will be in the details, but I'm leery of how this will all be incorporated. So got off on a tangent to this trivia question. Good lesson learned. The 76ers, the first to do that. And see, that works. That's fine. Yeah. But in comparison to like the Mariners Nintendo Switch patch, it's night and day.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, now time to the polls. Who's taking the bragging rights home this year? 71% picked Oklahoma. A lot of faith that John Mateer is going to play and play well.
Or
that Michael Hawkins has. Yeah, or Michael Hawkins has his moment, which can happen in games like this if he does play. So.
I mean, sure. You roll the ball out there, anything can happen. I'm not sure what the exact percentages would be and percentage to win with John Mateer versus with Michael Hawkins. I would think it's probably similar to, or maybe a bit better than Sam Levitt to Jeff Sims, as we'll also see this weekend apparently. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of reason for optimism with Oklahoma's defense and with their wide receivers, and Michael Hawkins has played a good amount, so he can make enough plays, and your defense, you feel like, can limit Texas to some degree. But Texas has a really good defense, despite what happened last week against Florida. And it would not surprise me whatsoever if, like, Arch has one of those games where we're talking about his swagger again, like we did against Sam Houston. I mean, you never know in Red River, so can't wait to see what happens tomorrow afternoon with all this talk leading into it. More than normal because of that Mateer injury. I can't wait to see that mystery solved and see how that all works out. But Boomer Sooner there, it looks like.
All right, next up, Bulls are Mean Green. Oh, this one's a lot closer. North Texas, 53% to 47%. Man, like USF's only loss is to Miami.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a really tough game to pick. I think it's going to be a great one, though.
No, it should be a very competitive game. I don't have any type of a prediction for it. I won't even try to front for y'all. You know, I don't want to do that. So UNT looks like 2.5-point favorites. They're at home. They're unbeaten. They got a really good quarterback, but South Florida ought to be pretty fierce. Let me look. ESPN's matchup predictor. I don't know how often you use that. I don't know how often it's even accurate most of the time, but it's interesting to at least look at leading into a game. And UNT 53.5% to 46.5%. So this is about as even as you're going to find. And so, coin flip and Denton sounds like. Look forward to talking about whatever happens tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do that on Monday for sure. Thanks to Garrett and Andrew. We have a new intern. His name is Logan. He was named after Wolverine, Craig, which is pretty badass.
Very cool.
Yeah. I mean, you know, and here's the thing.
He has adamantium claws too, which is weird. First time I've ever seen that in person.
That would be the story. I believe him anyway, because of, you know, how old his dad is and how old he is. But that would be the story I would tell. Like, I would like, oh, I'm named after Wolverine and not like the airport in Boston, you know? So,
right.
So anyway, but that's going to do it for us. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you on Monday.